welcome to the Fully Baked Radio Show. Brought to you live by SativaCross.com, live from Trenton, New Jersey, worldwide, from Chris Christie's office, here every Thursday. Chris Christie, where's Chris Christie? Is he here? Anybody see Chris Christie? Where is he? Where? He's not here. He's in, where? New Hampshire? Are you talking to me off the air? Oh, Mike, this is called radio. This is called radio, Chuck. It's a first for you, too, I know.
Check, Chuck, check.
That's something you don't say either. You don't say check. You say, these days, chicken is a rare dish. It's easy to tell the depth of a well. That's how you do a test if you want to test live on the air, if you want to do a test.
Yeah, I was just saying
we
should come up with some kind of symbol that, like, when drivers that are going by support Sativa Cross, they could just, like, look over and go like this. And have that symbol that it's a Sativa Cross symbol.
Look at Bill. He wants me to turn his mic on so bad. I'm not turning your microphone on, Bill. Sorry.
Give the Dutchie symbol. You got to give the Dutchie symbol. Like you're burning.
Well, there is a bunch of kids here today, and
I'm sorry. It's better than pills.
Yeah. Well, I want to. All the children are here, and they're here to see Chris Christie leave for New Hampshire. Is Chris Christie going? Where is he here? Is Chris Christie here?
He's got to be.
Oh no!
Here.
Run, kids, run! It's Chris Christie.
Run,
he's gonna eat you. He's gonna eat you, kids. Run! Run, little Jimmy. Run, Johnny. Chris Christie's gonna eat you. Oh no! Oh no! The humanity. Oh, the humanity. Run, children, run. Run, children, run. Oh, God. He got him. Chris Christie got him.
I'm holding it. They think I'm
Oh, Chris Christie, he killed some more kids. He ate that one whole. Actually, it's no joke because when I talk about Chris Christie killing children, I talk about this, Sabina Rose right here. And it's no joke because he actually did kill this poor little girl with his stupid regulations. And if you ask Sabina Rose's parents, they'll tell you the same thing. It's a very sad situation. She was 15 months old. She could not get her medical marijuana because of the regulation. She could have gotten Onfi, Depakote, OxyContin within seconds. But medical marijuana, the poor little 15-month-old had to wait for 4 months. 4 months this little baby had to wait. How can you make children suffer? How do you do that, Governor Christie? Cavemen used to protect their children. Are you no more than a caveman? Or no less than a caveman? Are you a caveman, Governor Christie? I don't know. I think cavemen were a lot skinnier because they foraged for food, and I don't know. What do you think, Chuck? Hey, Chuck, come here. Come on camera, bud.
I think you're absolutely right.
Get over
here
on camera, please. This is this is the camera, and you got to go over here to be on the camera. I know this is new for you. It's a new experience for you.
I don't want to step on anything wrong.
No, you're good. You're good, bro.
I feel you're a real right person, man. I think all the laws are way too strict. I can't even afford the medicine that allows me to be a father. My children rely on me, and there's no way I could take them anywhere if I followed a doctor's order and take the pills. My doctors had me on 43 pills a day. I can't take my kids to the beach and say, go safely swimming if I'm on 43 pills. So until they change the law about children and even parents with medical marijuana, things remain strict. I have to basically hide from my children that are part me. And it's quite a difficult task, but you get used to it after a while. Should not have to be that way.
So, Chuck, you suffer from multiple sclerosis.
Yes, I have multiple sclerosis, 20 years on record, probably 30 off record. It's not an easy thing waking up every day and not taking 43 pills. So I have to smoke immediately as soon as I awake. You know, just to get out of bed requires a couple of vape hits just to stand up. And without that, I wouldn't be here today.
That's right.
The pills and the steroids made me so much overweight, it busted my spine up. You know, if you have a bad spine already, another 100 pounds ain't going to make it any better.
So you have a bad spine plus MS, plus some other issues I know of, too, that you have. And
yeah, the MS comes resulted of the bad spine. It's cut and scarring my spinal cord. But thank God we have marijuana legal to some extent. We have to hide and basically stay in a closet with it, even though it's legal. we continue to pursue a path where everybody will accept it. You know, they accept tobacco smoke, and that definitely kills people. It should be regulated so that patients can medicate anywhere without any person thinking differently about them.
Well, Chuck, so far you have had no problems medicating with me. You actually started the Ignorance is No Excuse tour with me in Keensburg.
Yes,
And it was
yes.
actually almost like a goof at the time. We were just like, hey, let's ask. We were going to smoke at the meeting, remember? We were going to go smoke
Yes.
weed at the meeting.
That was a Christie meeting.
Christie meeting.
Governor Chris Christie was meeting at the fire hall that day.
We met Mary Pat Angelini there. Remember
Yes.
we cornered Angelini and Carlos that day?
Yes, that was before she was twerking. But she learned that in Red Bank.
That was good. But we decided to ask a police officer, right?
Yeah,
Instead
basic,
of smoking.
simple.
Yeah.
Simple question.
Let's ask the cop, where do we smoke our marijuana?
Yeah, we're here. This is our medicine. This is our card.
And,
How do I use my medicine?
and what did he say?
He said no, that it was illegal.
That's right. He didn't know anything about the law.
So at that point, we had to leave and go home to private property
Yes.
and hide. Like they never were even informed of the law. So we had to inform every township in New Jersey one by one, from going to the next police department and asking them if they're familiar with the Kuma guidelines, which is very important.
It is.
Everyone's got a sick person in their family.
That's right.
That will definitely require a knowledge of medical marijuana over time.
Unfortunately, there are still patients all over New Jersey getting arrested with their cards, and now they're going after their families. Carol Millman got her court case is over. She pled guilty to a noise ordinance. Now the police are going after her family. How do you go after someone's family?
Yeah.
Because I don't get that. And same thing with Scott. Scott finished his case. Now they're going after his family, his roommates.
Yeah, anything.
What is going on with these police?
Anything to get their foot back in the door. They know that that's a weed spot. They're going to keep going back. You know, that some people think that eventually it's going to bring them profit somehow, even though it's taking someone's life and adding pain to their day.
So what's next for Chuck Kwiatkowski?
I'm giving it another 2 years or 3 years, and then I might have to search for a new state because I've been waiting for a long time. And it doesn't seem any better. I can't afford to buy it. The dispensaries are way too expensive. I should damn well be able to have it with tomatoes in my garden, but the law says they removed the 7-plant law immediately when the law was passed. It would be nice if they re-added the 7-plant per patient law as it was originally instated.
Was it 7 or 6?
Oh, it was 6. It was 6 plants.
I'll take 6.
2 usable ounces with that too, right?
Yeah.
That was 2 usable ounces and 6 plants. So you would actually have to fine-tune your life around those 6 plants so that you always had 2 ounces ready. You'd have to have some drying and
That's a lot of work for
keeping
patients.
them all on time.
When you're sick, that's a lot of work, though.
I'm standing right there.
I mean, I know you would like to do it because you like to do that kind of stuff. But someone who's in a wheelchair or in a bed, hospice,
Yeah,
they should grow their own. They should have a caregiver growing their own. But more than 6 plants, that's making it kind of tough on them, isn't it?
yeah,
6
6.
plants? Yeah.
Well, because of the 2-ounce limit,
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult to keep the perfect 2 ounces always dried, ready to use. And I'm not saying they should expand the limit, but they should definitely allow cultivation, even of my 2 ounces.
So you're going to wind up being another American refugee.
American refugee, I'm going to have to move where I can grow it because I can't afford it, and it's something I need to be a father. I'm just waiting for my one daughter to finish high school here, and then we'll probably be out of here.
Well, we have other American refugees here today, too. Diane Fornbacher from Ladybud Magazine is here, and her son. What's your name, man? I'm not going to call you. You want me to call you Butter? I'll call you Butter if you want.
It's good.
What is it? Go ahead.
My real name is Jack Wall.
Jack Wall. Okay. What's going on, buddy? How do you feel having to uproot your life and move out to Colorado just to be safe, your mom to be safe, and everybody to be like not... It's crazy. This is crazy. Come on over, Diane. It's so sad to hear these stories, and you're caught up in this whole thing. It's sad. Eric, let her sit there, please.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, please, let her sit down. Give her the headphones and a whole deal. Chuck, don't go away. We're not done with you yet either, buddy.
Okay, I'm not done with you.
Diane, it's an honor having you here today. It really is. Um, you're the editor for Ladybud magazine. It's a great magazine. I love it. I read it all the time.
Thank you.
You just made a video that was unlisted, so I don't know if we should talk about it or not. But the video that I just saw was amazing. The stuff you talked about really got me to think about some stuff. And it's very sad that you had to move your whole life to Colorado, because you're an American refugee. But normally when we talk about American refugees, it's just children. But you're an adult refugee.
Yeah, well, we've run into quite a few adult refugees as well in Colorado. I mean, they're coming in droves. We occasionally have events at our house. We had Memorial Day, Veterans Day parties, and we also had a refugee Thanksgiving at our house. And a lot of those people were adult refugees who've come to be able to use cannabis for their various conditions, but they've also come to protect their children from CPS, or as they're called here, the Division of Family Services, or Youth and Family Services. I'm not sure, they change their name all the time, but we left last year. And I think that Colorado is a very beautiful state. There are things about it that I don't see here, but this really is my home, and it was hard to leave.
I can imagine. So you're connected with other patients out there, I guess, and you have your own issues. PTSD, I believe, is your issue that you need to deal with your medical issues, and they don't allow it here in New Jersey. They're working on it, but they don't allow it here.
You know, the irony is that in Colorado, PTSD isn't yet a qualifying condition, although a lot of activists are working on it, and we're that much closer this month. And next month we have online ability to write people's testimonies for wanting to have PTSD as a qualifying condition. And certainly because cannabis is legal as a recreational substance, I do have access to it, but I don't get a patient price.
What's the difference?
Well, the price is a lot lower there for cannabis, and the THC content's a lot higher. So they cap it for recreational. But we do grow cannabis at home now, which I can't say we did in New Jersey, because we definitely didn't. I mean, we had children, and if anything, we probably had even just a marginal amount at our house, because it was just for like a PRN or as needed. I have a complex post-traumatic stress disorder, but I also have a reproductive disorder called endometriosis, which is incredibly painful. And I feel a lot more physically happy in Colorado, but I'm not going to lie, when we landed at Philadelphia International, I probably wept a little bit, as this is where we're from.
Yeah.
Back home feeling.
What's that, Chuck?
It's like a back home. It's a back home feeling when you see something new.
Yeah,
landmark.
and for us to move, we had to put our house in Collingswood on the market, and we were paying 2 mortgages for like 6 or 7 months, which was really hard because the taxes here in New Jersey are so incredibly high for real estate. We had a less than 1,000 square foot house in Collingswood, and we were paying $6,000 in real estate taxes each year. And in Colorado, we have a 3,000 square foot house, and we don't even cap it $1,500 a year for real estate. And we're at the foothills of the Rockies, which is really beautiful. It isn't New Jersey, and people tend to park in the left lanes in traffic, but it is a beautiful place, Colorado. So I'm not hating on Colorado, but my intentions are maybe in 10 or 15 years, or hopefully much sooner than that Pennsylvania and New Jersey have some semblance of a workable program for both patients and civilized human beings who want a freedom of choice. I'm not opposed to moving back here, but I can't, I have young children, and the access is sparse and broken here.
What do you think about Governor Christie saying that he's going to take away all the marijuana programs in Colorado and Washington and Oregon? He's going to dismantle
Number
them.
one, I hate to break it to you, Governor King Christie, but you're not going to become president, so okay, whatever, man.
Why does he say such things? I mean, what is he? What's he, nuts?
Narcissism has no self-awareness or recognition of faults, so it's an illness. I mean, I think he could probably benefit from some indica, because he does need to calm down a lot.
Yeah, that would help him.
I'm actually not sure.
He's a scary guy. We sometimes we see him walking into work every Thursday. Which is kinda cool.
I think he wants to be a scary guy, but I'm not afraid of him.
No, we're not afraid of bullies.
No, and that's exactly what he is. I mean, you see how he treats our teachers, and you see how he treats our citizens, and indeed even, pediatric cannabis patients and their families who are suffering enough and don't really need Governor Christie to, say the things that he does. I mean, these people have lost children or are afraid to lose their children every day, and when he says things like, he's not going to allow cannabis. He doesn't understand that a democracy is run by people, not a king. And if you're a governor of a democratic state in a democratic country, then you need to understand that you're not in charge. You're a ward of the people. And I don't think he seems to have forgotten that, because I don't think he's ever even acknowledged it. And I think that's unfortunate, because he's doing his own development as a human a disservice. Unfortunately, he has such a wide berth of influence that it's affecting and infecting people. I think he's one of the more deplorable politicians in that regard. He's so brazen about his ignorance and his rejection of compassion that it's almost guaranteed that he won't win for president or even a nomination.
Do you think he wants a cabinet position maybe, or attorney general maybe?
I certainly hope he doesn't have any further positions of power. I mean, he could do a lot of damage by going into private consulting already. But obviously he was elected governor, so there are contingencies of people out there who are just as unaware, blissfully, as he is, even as their schools are falling apart and teachers aren't getting paid what they need to get paid, and people can't have compassionate medicine that won't toxify them. But when you reflect on New Jersey as a state, you have to understand that New Jersey is home to 15 of the top 20 to 25 pharmaceutical companies on the planet. So just to say that he probably is acting on his own self-interest as well as special interest is a vast understatement. I mean, the man's evil. He's not just mean. He's evil.
He's part of an evil system, I think, too. Like when you look at the drug companies in New Jersey, like Novartis, there's a drug that they have for cancer. It costs like $70,000 a year to be on this drug for cancer that they have. So it's basically a non-effective drug because nobody can afford that drug. And this is what is keeping marijuana, cannabis, down, because they have so much profit margin on these pills that cost them pennies to make. Yet they're charging $70,000 a year to someone who's desperate, dying. Really? Let them grow some plants in their house.
What you're asking for is a bit too much for people in power. What you're asking for is compassion and sensibility, and that doesn't really make money.
No, it doesn't. Compassion does not make money.
We need the federal help. We need the federal people to change it to a Schedule 2 or 3 substance, and I believe that would change a lot. As patients, they don't want us growing it in our yard because they want us to buy those pills, like you said. But up until now, just take a look at the Rainbow Movement last week. In 2 days, laws were changed, things were done, everybody's happy. It's a total win. Why can't they do that for medical marijuana across all 50 states?
You know what amazes me is that, okay, you have, based on one vote, you have your freedoms. Based on one vote. You can have your freedoms, or based on one vote, you cannot have your freedoms. Like one vote votes on all these people's freedoms. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Isn't that kind of weird? That's not democracy, is it?
That sounds
I don't know. It's weird.
More like an empire trying to take over with this one leader.
The whole system's screwed up. Bill, leave us alone. Bill, stop poking at me. Stop pointing at me. Go back to your. Go over there.
I think that the United States could use a lot of redeeming. That's why I'm probably voting for Bernie Sanders.
Really?
Yeah. I think that our country has made a lot of strides in the last few years. I wish Obama would take more action on legalization of cannabis and maybe descheduling. But I think that as far as other presidents have gone, he's gone a little bit further. I would hope that before he leaves office, perhaps we'll see something more intensely effective. A lot of what he said has seemed friendly, but it hasn't been definitive, so it was left up to interpretation by state attorney generals. And we've seen in California that their state attorney general has taken license with really trying to arrest people, even with systems that do work, have You know, and it's so risky to get involved in cannabis. I mean, I've only been in Colorado a little over a year since I moved from New Jersey, and I know several dozens of businesses that are no longer working because, you know, it's not federally legal, and the Marijuana Enforcement Division has all of these arbitrary ways to affect and mess with people who have given a lot of money just to, you know, be a part of the market. And the laws are just so murky, you know. That's not to say we don't have access. We do, and I'm very grateful for that in Colorado. But I think that you can always see improvement in access and in freedoms. Thanks, honey. You know, so I don't know. I mean, we're a lot further than I thought we might be 10 or 15 years ago. I always hoped we would be where we are today in some fashion, but there's some things I didn't see. I didn't see the CBD only movement.
No.
Didn't anticipate that. So I think that whole plant medicine is the best bet. It's more inclusive. It works. So I am happy that there's a lot more traction with cannabis in the law, but I feel we have miles to go before we sleep. The drug war is so far from over. A lot of people, they'll hear something maybe a little uninformed and think, you know, oh yeah, marijuana is legal in New Jersey. And I have to really break them the hard news that no, it's not. It's barely legal for patients to access, and the protections under the law are far from protective.
No.
You know, I mean, we had to leave, and, you know, I mean, it all started not just because I was a patient, but because my son mentioned hemp in school.
Yes, talk about that. That was crazy.
Are you okay with that, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is Jack, and he was 9 at the time, and they had some sort of Earth Day or, you know, practical recycling, you know, ways, suggestions or something like that for the kids at school to participate in finding solutions. And Collingswood's really ahead of that in a lot of ways. They're one of the South Jersey towns that has a bike share, a very extensive recycling program, thanks to Commissioner Joan Leonard and a lot of citizens like, you know, my friend Joan Bonaparte, who helps to run the bike share. And so it has a green festival every year, and it's not a green festival like we believe green festivals, you know, typically when we refer to them, they're cannabis festivals, but in Collingswood, there's an environmental festival that has grown by leaps and bounds each year, maybe 5 or 6 years since it started, maybe 7 to 10 now, my God. So I worked with Hemp History Week, and there was one year where Hemp History Week was in June, but our Green Festival was a couple months before that. So I talked to Hemp History Week and the Bronner family, and they sent me a lot of samples for Hemp History Week, a hempcrete sample, a big block of it. And
Cool.
yeah, and we were giving away samples from Sativa, Manitoba, and all of these products you can find at Whole Foods or Wegmans, or, you know,
true.
any grocery store, or even indeed like Target or Walmart. You know, we had hemp thread and twine and a lot of products that show the vast spectrum of industrious uses. And I was handing out samples, and, you know, Jack was young at the time, and he thought I was selling hemp, or, you know, we called it cannabis hemp. But I was handing out samples, and we had lots of people on one side of the table, and I'm on the other, and you know, so a lot of people got soaps, they got oils, they got hemp seeds, and all kinds of great stuff, including our school principal's daughters, who love the hemp lip balm.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't love hemp lip balm?
Exactly, and free. So, unlike us. So, my son was at school, and they sort of posited some problems and were asking for solutions about how, you know, we can help the environment. Here are some, you know, environmental issues. How can we solve them? And my son said something to the effect that, why don't we just try hemp? You know, I mean, he had been taught, because we care about our children, we don't lie to them. So we told him the truth. And we also told him the difference between hemp and, you know, cannabis for medicine or recreation, and, you know, what it has and what it doesn't have. So he said, what about hemp? And the teachers didn't know what that was, because I suppose we keep them ignorant enough, I don't know. And they said, what's hemp? And he said, it's like marijuana, but you can't get high. And it just sort of escalated from there, and they made assumption on top of assumption. You know, they said, was your mom selling, you know, cannabis? And he said, well, she's selling hemp, you know, at at the Green Festival. So then they were operating under the assumption that I was dealing, what they consider drugs in an open air market around their children and the whole community, which was patently untrue.
Wow.
I would never be stupid enough to do something like that.
That's a huge leap.
Yeah, let alone, violate my agreements with Hemp History Week. I mean, I know what it is. So, and there were several activists who participated with CMMNJ who volunteered at that table, including, Ebony and Sarah Miranda and a lot of my girls that were a part of my team here with the Northern Women's Alliance as well at the time. And so, we didn't know that they interrogated our son without our consent because there's a law in place that protects children of abuse, so they have that privacy and protection.
Wow, so wait, they interrogated him in a room without you there?
Yes, at the
Oh my
school
God.
they had two CPS agents,
Oh
they
my
had
God.
a special ed teacher, they had the principal, and they didn't tell us. And
Whoa.
several days passed. So when you're a little kid and you have a teacher and you have a principal, you don't think to tell your parents because you're with your teacher, you're with your principal. It might seem
Whoa.
curious, but he never told us,
That's
which I
crazy.
understand. Then the next week, over the weekend, my father died. And we still didn't know what happened at the
Sorry.
school. It's okay, Dad. And so we were getting ready to leave for my father's funeral when we heard a knock on the door, and it was CPS. And they came in and said, we want to check out your house, see if your kids have clothes that fit, if you have electricity or running water. And I said, what are you here for? And they're like, you were selling marijuana. Your son said so at school. I'm like, you need to leave. You need to get outside. You need to get in my yard, and you just need to back up. My husband let them in because they're two little ladies. My dad just died. He thought they were friends of mine. He didn't know that they were coming to check on me, maybe, deliver some more pasta, which we didn't need, So, they went outside and they wanted to see our kids. They admitted to us that they've already interrogated our older son and that they had already gone to my younger's preschool. They knew that my kids needed to get, their teeth cleaned because they went to the dentist. Because when you sign those papers to get your kids into school, that's what it's for. If they need to investigate you, they have all of your information at their hands. So the principal let that happen and didn't tell us. So the day we were leaving for my father's funeral, they came, and when we told them to get out, they still wanted to investigate our house, which we declined them. And then they said, well, you guys are being adversarial, so we are going to get the police to get you to let us in the house. And I said, well, we'll be waiting for you, because unless you have a court order or a search warrant, you're out of luck. We're not going to let you in our house. You've already rifled through our lives, and we're not going to let you go through our house. So at one point they were like, well, we just want to see if you have running water. My husband said, I'll turn the hose on you if you want, but you're not coming in the house. And she said, well, we want to see if you have electricity. And he said, when you were in the house, you saw the TV on over my shoulder. And she's like, we just want to see your children. And he said, you saw my young son watching, Mickey Mouse House or whatever it's called at the time, and you see that he was on the couch. And he's only in a diaper because it's summer and it's hot. So you've seen him. You can't come in. You can't see him. You can't talk to him. And they said, well, what about your other son? We said, you've already interrogated him at school. What more do you need? But he was doing his homework, so my husband got a ladder and put it up against his bedroom window and said, go ahead and take a look. He's doing his homework. And so we said to the two ladies, the caseworkers, go ahead and climb the ladder and take a look at him. That's as close as you're going to get. And they said, oh, no, we're fine. And they looked at the cop they brought, who I know, by the way, because Collingswood's a very small town, and he said, I'll take a look. So he went up and he goes, well, there's a little boy. He's doing homework. He has a textbook open. He has 2 laptops. And his room is clean. And he has a bunk bed. And there's really nothing else to see. So he got down. And they still try to get into our house. And I said, you guys are going to have to leave. We ended up calling the town commissioner, Joan Leonard, who invited me to go to the Green Festival so she could talk to them. Hold on, honey, not right now. So basically, it was somewhat of a fiasco. As an advocate, it's been really hard for me when people come to me with these situations saying, CPS has come to the house, what do we do? And I always tell them, stay calm as you can. It's okay, just don't let them in the house. These are some controls, just stay calm and stay persistent, stay tenacious. And I'd always counseled them, but they'd never come to my house. But in the back of my head, I always knew that might be a possibility. I just kind of put it in the back of my mind because I wouldn't have been able to continue my work. I would have been frightened, So when they came to my house, it was really hard to control myself My dad had just died. They had gotten me at a time when I was very vulnerable, and
I'll say, yeah.
So, a couple weeks before that, I had spoken at a press conference here at the State House, and during the course of me being at the press conference, I had called Governor Christie no better than a common thug, robbing patients, because that's really what it's like. If somebody needs something less toxic and they can't access it but they know it works, that is cruel, and that's criminal. And I'm not afraid to say those things, but hey, guess what? They came for my kids a few weeks later, so I guess it's not so safe. It's even less safe than I thought. So we had to move.
Was it scary when they interviewed you in that room?
Yes, it was the principal's office. I was really nervous.
Lean into the mic.
Wow. What'd they say to you?
Was my mom selling cannabis?
Really? And did they yeah, your mom was selling it, right? Admit it? Were they leading you on, or they just were asking you questions?
They were just asking me.
Okay.
They kept saying marijuana, and he kept trying to tell them hemp. No, not marijuana, hemp. When we got some of the records back, my now deceased lawyer, who did a lot of work with CMMNJ in Philadelphia, Bill Buckman, got some of the records from the school district and wanted to see the kind of exchange and how it escalated behind doors that we didn't see, only what we heard. And in those records and the exchanges, we saw that Jack had kept trying to redirect them to say hemp, and they kept saying, "You mean marijuana?" When they came to our door, they basically told us hemp is illegal because they thought it was marijuana. And we were like,
Wow.
I feel bad because I kind of laughed in their faces, because I thought, oh, is this really what you're here for?
Wow.
My son mentioned hemp at school. At that point it just became, I became angry at the absurdity.
Of course.
And the lack of education. And if they're going to do an investigation, you might as well look at the definition of what you're investigating, and they had it all wrong. So at that point I kind of eased off in my heart a little bit. I was like, this is going to be easy, but it's going to be hard, to defend, because I was asked to be at the Green Festival. I was working with a national and international campaign with Hemp History Week, which is funded by the Hemp Industry Association and all kinds of really great groups and trade organizations. So when they, said, hemp's illegal, I said, there's a statute that says hemp is legal to sell here. I'm like, do you go to Walmart, Target? Do you go to the craft store on Haddon Avenue in Collingswood? Because it's all hemp twine, and you can't smoke that, and I wouldn't want to, and if you were educated about it, you would know that. Do you feel stupid or embarrassed? And they didn't like that. They thought that was not funny.
Of course that's not funny, being called out for being stupid.
Right. So they
Oh
gave
my
us their
God.
supervisor's number, and
Here's someone smarter.
we
Talk to
gave them the
them.
town commissioner's number. And so the town commissioner and their supervisor from DIFUS talked to each other.
The big brass.
I wish you only had video of this. If they ever came to my house, I'd whip out a camera. Say, here you go.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. We were so taken aback by the
Yeah.
audacity of them stopping by when we were trying to leave for my father's funeral. It was just not really
Brutal.
We didn't have a lot of foresight
That's
to
brutal.
prepare. And when the town commissioner got a message from the supervisor, the town commissioner, Joan, she called me first and she says, "What is this? What does this make any sense?" And I said, "Listen, I work with the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey. I'm on the board, and I was doing, you know that you invite me every year to do the hemp table at the Green Festival. So, can you please talk to them and tell them?" And she says, "No, I'll do more than talk to them." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I'm going to yell at them. Why are they wasting my time on you and your family?" And I said, I can't really give you a good answer to that, Joan, So she called them and she yelled at them. And, less than a week later, after Bill Buckman got a hold of them and Joan Leonard got a hold of them, we got a letter basically said, "Well, we're going to leave you alone, and we found the charges of neglect unfounded. But should you need our help, please call this 800 number, 1-800."
Ugh.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
I always worry about the school ending up in your house, too. I mean, I'm a parent as
It's
well.
a legitimate fear. And, within a week of me moving to Colorado, I had to testify in front of the Senate. at the State House there.
Yes.
I didn't even have furniture yet. The pod guy hadn't driven across the U.S. to catch up with us, so we didn't even have furniture yet. And the local activist said, listen, I know there's a moratorium for you that's self-imposed about 6 weeks until you can get, you and your kids settled and in school and stuff, but is there any possible way you could testify, because 2 bills have been introduced by 2 Democratic senators that basically are using the same language as, say, the meth labs, but also using a lot of cannabis, similar terminology like cultivation, extracting, and we really need your help, and we really need you as a refugee to say, I'm a patient, I came here to protect my kids, this is our story. And I don't know if you've seen me testify here, but usually I can keep it together. I'm emotional, but I'm not breaking down.
You're awesome.
And I direct, the attention to the patients behind me.
Yes.
But here I was in the hot seat, and I had to testify on behalf of my own family. I didn't really come out with the fact that I had PTSD for a long time until like 3 years ago, and it was here at the State House because I felt like I could encompass all patients rather than speaking for myself. But 2 years ago, I really felt like, wow, PTSD is a qualifying condition, and they came for my kids, so I have to say something, So when I testified at the State House in Colorado, I actually wept. I couldn't get through my own testimony, which was hard for me because I pride myself on being able to get through my testimony. But we had just driven across country. We were already carrying 2 mortgages. We had a lot of support from the community and raised a significant amount of money to pay for at least the pod storage and the driver. But aside from that, we didn't get help from my husband's work. And, I'm self-employed, so it was difficult. Fortunately, my husband has a really nice, he has really nice employers, and he works from Colorado and comes back out here, which is one of the reasons why we're out here now.
Oh, wow.
But, a lot of people don't have that, and we see lots of people trying to bunk with other families. So you have, instead of one parent with 1 seizure kid as a refugee living there temporarily, now you have 2 parents who are not married with 2 kids who are seizures, who have seizures and aren't related because they're trying to help each other. And we see that all the time. And it's really
a lot of the schools, many of the schools in New Jersey, they already are equipped with professionals in the school. They're either a more advanced teacher, or some of them I've met were principals themselves. And what I mean by these advanced teachers, where they're doctors. They're not just teachers. Many of them are doctors. They're degrees. So some of them are psychologists and some of them are psychiatrists. By having those types of teachers in place, when you have a problem with your child, it gives them firsthand to look at that problem more closely and see if they need to bring it into your home or call the next step. But I've been through a lot of that, and I see how that could impact children everywhere. Just the fact that how their school feels, the teachers at the school, how they feel your child is being treated, might make a difference in where you have to live. It shouldn't be that way.
A lot of people make the assumption that everyone's cool with cannabis in Colorado, and that couldn't be further from the truth. We barely passed by a majority for legalization in Colorado, and it is a swing state. It's what's called a purple state, so it's almost equal amounts conservative, almost equal amount liberal. And so a lot of people aren't cool with cannabis. I mean, I even brought it up in one of the Facebook groups that I belong to for my neighborhood, which is Highlands Ranch, Colorado. It's about 45 minutes to an hour south of Denver, and people freak out. They're like, they think it's crack.
Yeah.
And I'm all about overall drug policy reform and more compassionate, sensible policy, so I don't even use terms like crackhead, but a lot of people use terminology like that when they're talking about people who use cannabis too, and it's so disturbing.
Well, getting back to what you were saying before about helping others, I know that you knew Cheryl Miller, and I knew her too. I think that's where I might have met you at one point with one of her events.
I eulogized her when she died.
Yeah, I might have been there, and I want to know what drives you to do what you do to help other people.
I want to live a life in common, and that means I don't really want to waste my time on the mundane. I believe in my life's purpose is to achieve more freedom and compassion while at the same time seeking that sort of development within me. I'm no angel, I'm no, perfectionist, and I don't purport to be. I don't like.
Yeah, I can hold it.
I'm not really egotistical. I don't like when people try to make themselves into pot stars to be somebody with a capital S. I'd rather be a nobody soldier in the trenches and on the field trying to help my compatriots. I want to achieve more civil liberties so that my kids grow up and, you know, they're not merely stock rising or falling in the eyes of the private prison industry, which I believe is one of the biggest issues we have today. I mean, the drug war has affected and infected pretty much every facet of our society and lives in an international level, and I really believe that humans are more capable of better things, and I want to be one of them.
So you've always felt this way pretty much since you were little.
I'm a survivor. The reason I have complex PTSD is because I was sexually, physically, and mentally abused as a child, and, you know, that broke me a couple times in a lot of places. In some places I'm still trying to heal, but I can't be quiet about a medicine that helps me and so many other people, because as a person who has complex PTSD, I will be honest with you, there are about 15 days out of the month where I have ideation, where I want to end my life, and it's not that I want to die, but if you have PTSD, the pain, it haunts you. It's like a darkness. It's like this part of you that betrays you. It's like a twin you had that was never born, and it just sort of runs around inside of you. You never know when it's going to trigger you, you know, and I know what it's like to suffer, and I don't want it to just apply to my own condition. I want anyone who feels imprisoned in their own mind or body to be free, you know, and that's why I do what I do, because, you know, it's not just my kids, it's other humans, it's their children, you know, it's not just a compatriot thing, although it is assuredly a very compatriot-driven thing. It's humanity. You know, we can do better.
The problem with PTSD is, well, there's a lot of veterans coming out for it, but a lot of women won't come out and say they have PTSD for whatever reasons, whether it's they're ashamed or they're angry or embarrassed or whatever. A lot of women won't come out and say this.
It's hard because if you've been abused, it's revisiting the very thing that gives you nightmares. So, you know, you can go to therapy or you can go to the protest and you can talk about it, but when you go home, there's nobody, you know what I mean? And even if you have children or a wonderful husband like I do, you can't shut it off,
right.
You know? People are like, you could just get over it, if you could just this, if you could just that, if you could just shut up and stop telling me how to get over PTSD, because I desperately have wanted to not have it since I got it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for people, you know, a lot more people are coming out and saying I have PTSD, and I sincerely appreciate people who fight for the right to have cannabis for veterans. You know, I agree with a lot of the wars they're sent to, and it makes me really upset that they are sent to things that they don't know what they're fighting for, and then they come back and they're sick, you know, and, you know, without soldiers, we wouldn't have a lot of the things that we have, and, you know, without war, we wouldn't have a lot of the sorrow that we have either, but, you know, I think that regardless of how people have gotten PTSD, they should have access. I'm like a lot of those veterans in that I've been prescribed a lot of medicines under the sun from a pharmaceutical industry, and I've never had symptoms from cannabis like I do from some of those things.
What kind of drugs?
I was on Depakote, and
really?
Yeah, and they gave it to me for PTSD, and they said, well, you know, your mania makes you unstable, and I said, okay, so I'll take this Depakote, right? It's prescribed off-label. It's typically for seizures, and guess what? I gained 70 pounds and started losing my hair. That didn't make me feel happy. It didn't make me feel complete, or it didn't make me feel like I could accomplish anything. It made me feel like nothing. It made me feel like a potato. You know, I just was just there. I couldn't answer questions like, how's the weather today? I'd just be like, you know, I just wouldn't be able to figure out what you meant or how to answer you, you know? If that's what happiness is, I don't want it.
No, keep that happiness to yourself. I don't want that. I'll take the cannabis. Wow. And Depakote, what else did they have you on besides Depakote?
Oh, I was under a lot of stuff, and none of it worked. You know, it was for anxiety, or it was for this, it was for that. One to sleep, one to wake up, one to stay linear, one to, you know, take if I panic.
One to counteract the effects of the other drug.
Exactly. And at one point, you know, I talked to my psychiatrist who forgot to re-up my Depakote. And if you've never had seizures before and you're on a seizure medication, if you don't have it, chances are you're going to have a seizure. So I had a seizure.
What?
Yes, and never had one again because they ended up giving me a temporary, and I took some to come off of it because I said, listen, I can't have this happen again. Like, I never had this problem before, you know, like, so maybe you could just not prescribe it to me and take me off of it, you know, slowly, please. You know, I mean, you miss a phone call, you miss the window. There's no emergency number to call for your prescription. It's just not happening, you know, and I just didn't want that to happen anymore. So I haven't been on pharmaceuticals for quite some time. I did have some, what's it called, Percocet when I got diagnosed with endometriosis. But whenever I take it, I just feel like I'm not around, you know, like I can't communicate, I can't get up, I can't stand up fast if I want some water, so I can't even take that, you know. But if I take cannabis, I don't have those problems, you know. It's just, it's flabbergasting. I really, if you could just encapsulate it in one word, it'd be flabbergasting. I guess as you know, if you move to a second word, it'd be cruel. But it's interchangeable.
There's
I guess.
a lot of good words to use, a lot of bad words to use. It's just.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for Governor Christie because it must suck to just not be self-actualized, and when people try to make suggestions, be thoroughly convinced that you don't need any help and that your opinion's the only one that matters. That's no way to live. I pity him.
Well, I went to his Livingston meeting the other day. There was 1,000 people there that hated him for different reasons. Sandy victims, teachers, me, I'm a medical marijuana patient. I have my own issues with him. And it was just a lot of hate, a lot of division this guy has caused. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. He's, you know, as much as he purports to love the country and to be doing all the good things, I think he's a false person who has deigned himself sort of the king of New Jersey. And as I said before, democracy isn't run by a king, it's run by a people. And he doesn't acknowledge people power. You know, he knows everything. I'd surmise to say I did more for Hurricane Sandy victims than he did too. You know, when that happened, we had pods in front of our house were donated by the Unitarian Church, and we took trailers to Far Rockaway. We took them to central Pennsylvania. We took them to a lot of the bays south in Delaware, and we did that for 3.5 months. And we did it. We didn't have to ask for a bunch of money that nobody was going to see.
Right.
For help. We went to the people and we handed them things hand to hand, you know, because Collingswood escaped relatively unscathed. You know, we were scared. We had some winds, we had some uprooted trees and some, you know, windows knocked out. But Hurricane Sandy around us sort of decimated everything in one fashion or another. And, you know, this is just indicative of Governor Christie's inability to govern.
There was a whole busload of people there who were homeless from Sandy. Whole busload. Like, really? These people are desperate.
I'm just saying thank goodness for term limits, so.
I don't know how he got elected the second time. I mean, I think he paid off some Democrats because the Democrats of Bergen County or one of those counties all voted for him. I don't know why, but he made some deal with the Democrats of some county. And they all, maybe Union County.
Maybe they have a bridge they need.
New Jersey politics. That's why we need you back here. We need you fighting with us back here. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ken, your mic's right here, buddy. Turn it on for you. You should have a mic.
Yes, I do. Ken Walski from the Coalition for Medical Marijuana
Hey,
New
Ken.
Jersey. And I just want to welcome Diane back onto the board of directors of the
Thanks,
Coalition
Ken.
for
Oh,
Medical Marijuana.
wait, you're back on the
New
board of
Jersey.
directors for New
Back on
Jersey
the
Medical
board.
Marijuana
Yes.
Coalition? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's wonderful.
We need you classing up the joint.
So now we have 6 men. We're working towards parity. 6 men and 4 women on the board. Amanda Hoffman, Vanessa Maria, Vanessa Waltz, and Diane Fornbacher are the ladies on the board. So
Excellent.
we're so happy to have you back on the board, Diane.
Thank you, I
Cool.
appreciate it.
But we can't take part in elections, so we can't really, not as board members anyway, just as private individuals. So we have to be careful about what we say in terms of elections when we represent the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New
You
Jersey.
do. I don't.
No, you don't. No.
I can say
But
whatever I want.
But I understand that there were more protesters outside of the Livingston High School than there were supporters inside the
There
Livingston
was
High School
1,000 people outside.
when Christie announced he was running for president.
And they were mad.
So.
They were pissed.
Yeah.
They had really good chants,
Yeah.
too. Really good.
Well, it's understandable when Christie just ignores the will of the people, for his own agenda. I mean, 86% of the people of the state of New Jersey support medical marijuana, and we have a broken, failed program here in New Jersey. So, just to ignore that, I mean, 86%. You don't get motherhood and apple pie getting 86% approval ratings in New Jersey. So. It's really remarkable to have that kind of approval. And now I understand 70% of the people want Governor Christie to resign from office now that he's running for president. 70% of the voters in New Jersey say Christie should leave office because he's not here. You know, we're paying him to do a job, and he's doing something else. He's running
Well,
around the country.
Who's taking over while he's gone? What's her name?
Well, Kim Guadagno
Kim.
is the lieutenant governor. So
Oh, so she finally has a name. Like now we know that there is one.
Do we like her or do we not like her?
well, we don't know too much about her. We know that
Okay.
she totally supports Governor Christie's
right, I don't like her.
agendas.
I don't like
Yeah.
her.
So we've asked what her opinion on medical marijuana was. Some people asked when asked her specifically what her opinion on medical marijuana was, and she said it's the administration's opinion. You know, so she doesn't have an independent opinion. You know,
Oh, another robot. Great.
She represents Christie's administration.
A lackey.
So unfortunately,
You
yes.
can't say that, but I can. So I'll say she's a lackey.
So.
You guys can't say those things. I can say it.
But he really should resign from office.
Please,
New
please.
Jersey's paying him a job. I was a state employee for 25 years, and I couldn't go traipsing around the country on my own agenda, trying to do things. I was expected to be in state and doing my job for those 25 years, collecting a salary for being a nurse in the state of New
You're
Jersey.
not the king, Ken. You're not the king of New Jersey.
But we think it's inappropriate for him to be running for president and to be governor of the state of New Jersey, because you can't do both. But he's right now he has not given any indication that he is going to resign, and that's most unfortunate.
What would you do?
What would I do about it?
If you ran for governor
Yeah.
or ran for president.
Well, I did run for I did run for office. I was a Green Party candidate
I
for
voted
U.S.
for you.
Senate. Yeah, thank
Twice.
you, Lefty. Twice. I only ran once.
I know.
And I got a decent showing. It was my first run for public office in 2012, and I got somewhere between 17 and 19,000 votes. So, and I only spent like a couple $100s on my entire campaign. The problem is that the media doesn't pay attention to the third-party candidates, and that's really unfortunate. Governor Christie says one or two things, and it's all over the front page of the newspapers in New Jersey. And here, Jill Stein, for example, announced that she's running for president as a Green Party candidate, and it wasn't picked up by any of the media. And if you look at the Green Party platform, it's really hard to disagree with any of the things in the Green Party platform. They want to end the mass incarceration. They want free universal health care for all Americans. It's just a wonderful platform.
How could they want all of those wonderful things for the people? How dare they hope so high?
Or the Libertarian Party is very good too. They have their own agenda that is different than the Green Party, but they were the third biggest vote getter in 2012. The Green Party was the fourth biggest vote. So there's certainly a lot of interest, and there are more independents in the state, registered independents in the state of New Jersey than there are Republicans and Democrats. So New Jersey really is a very independent-minded state. We don't consider ourselves a conservative or a Republican state. We consider ourselves a middle-of-the-road state, quite frankly. So we can go either way, but we should be listening to other voices besides just the Republicans and Democrats.
Now, New Jersey was typically known as a blue state and a Democratic state, but are you saying we're now a purple state?
Well, no, it's we're still a Democratic state, but we're not a conservative or a liberal state. We
Maybe
elect
middle of the road.
we're middle of the road. We elect Republican governors as often as we elect Democratic governors. We got Governor Kane, we had Christie Whitman, we have
Whitman.
What's his name? Chris Christie.
What's his name? He hasn't been gone that long.
The big KC,
but,
the big King Christie.
On a statewide basis, we're not the liberal state that we think we are.
Right.
Or that some people think we are, that we're often characterized as. They say we're a progressive state, but it's hard to believe that in terms of some of our policies too.
Some of them.
Some of them.
I mean, just the fact that we can stand across the street there and smoke our cannabis without getting arrested, I think that's pretty progressive. Because they're not checking cards. There's people over there. We don't know if they may be patients over there.
Right.
I know there was at least one patient.
Right.
But
Right.
they're not checking cards. They're not really busting our chops here.
That's
it's a good
progress.
Well, this is the city of Trenton too, and the city of Trenton is post-industrial. We're in the middle of a very devastating drug war. And quite frankly, the police in the state of in the city of Trenton have far greater priorities than shaking down people who are smoking marijuana on the street to check them for their medical marijuana card. We have a lot of problems here in the city of Trenton. We have overworked police force, and I think that they are rightly setting the priorities that need to be set here. But what we need to do is we need to memorialize those priorities, and we need to legalize marijuana in the state of New Jersey so it's not just a particular whim or particular priorities that individual cities set, but it is a statewide policy that we will no longer arrest marijuana users. Cannabis users.
Start that again with you today.
Yeah.
Every time you say marijuana, I'm going to say cannabis.
And it was very, very, very encouraging when the city of Asbury Park recently passed a resolution that said that marijuana should be legalized in the state of New Jersey. So I think we're going to be seeing more and more of that. The New Jersey United for Marijuana Reform is an organization that consists of the American Civil Liberties Union, New Jersey chapter, the American Civil Liberties Union, the New Jersey chapter of the NAACP, the Municipal Prosecutors Alliance, and many churches and individuals in the state of New Jersey who are fed up with this war on marijuana. And
we are the Coalition for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm also on the board of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, and
yeah.
we're not changing it to Norcal anytime soon. My apologies.
Norcal. Yeah.
I just want to bring awareness to the fact that we got that the word marijuana is a racist term. I just like to bring attention to that. But
yeah, well, we'd like to reclaim that as a good word.
I agree
Everybody knows what it means, and the symbol is universally recognized as a symbol.
Well, and we've done some research on hits on the internet. When people do search, their hits usually go first for marijuana. And in fact, I can give you a little tiny story about when we were a couple of colleagues of mine and we were traveling north Humboldt County all the way down south to Los Angeles and San Diego. And when we arrived in Hollywood, we did a presentation and we tabled at a black comedy event, and we were told to try to say cannabis because our upper echelon board members basically said we're going to try to sort of influence and try to put cannabis out there as a more succinct terminology that is current. So we kept saying cannabis, legalize cannabis, and this girl came up to us, she goes,
what's cannabis?
are you all talking about marijuana? And I was like, well, yes, but we're referring to it as cannabis. She goes, okay, if you're talking about marijuana, I'm with you. Cannabis, I don't even know what that is. And I was like, cannabis is marijuana. And she said, I don't like the way that sounds. Wow. So she was like, I'm going to call it marijuana. I was like, cool, thanks for being with us, So for the rest of the time we were at that club, we kept saying marijuana.
That's
we were like, yes. We were like, hey, cannabis, blah, blah, blah. And they just walk past us. No, thanks, we don't want your pamphlet. And we'd be like, here's a pamphlet about marijuana. Like, oh, hell yeah. Can I use this to roll a joint? And I'm like, you can use it to fold, but I wouldn't recommend smoking the ink. So
see, I just got schooled by Diane Fornbacher. That's why she's here. I love it. No, we'll use both terms. We use them both equally.
Well, and there's some, there are a lot of endless debates online about that. And I would say that by definition, cannabis would be preferred, but a lot of the organizations that were formed before that became a reclamation of the term or moving away from marijuana, a lot of us have already, submitted our papers as nonprofits, so that's the name we have to stick with.
And we have a medical marijuana program in New Jersey.
Exactly.
So. Right.
Well, in places like Texas, it's marijuana with an H, I think, and they have to refer to that or it won't apply to what they're fighting for because those are the strictures under which they're operating. So
yeah.
Some people just want to call it weed. So
What do they call it out in Colorado? Anything new? Any new words?
A lot of people call it cannabis, weed. Dabs are really big out in the legal flex states. I personally don't require dabs. I think it's far too strong for me. I need an equalizer. I don't need a trip to the moon.
Yeah.
But if it works for people, if I have a migraine and I do a dab, which would be difficult because usually I have migraines at my house when I wake up, I don't have a rig or anything like that to do a dab. But I was speaking at the Boston Freedom Rally one year, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. You were there too. And I woke up with a migraine. And so I asked around to some of my colleagues who I knew were going to be there. And Mickey Martin gave me a dab. And my migraine was gone. I mean, I needed to sit down for 5 minutes with my hand over my eyes to sort of get myself together, but I will say that I was able to function that day. I mean, when you have a migraine you're okay after it passes, or you have some sort of medication or practice that helps you, your brain still feels really delicate. It feels really mushy, and the rest of the day is sort of a fog, but the fog did break a little bit after that for me.
Yeah, it's important for first-time users to be aware that the dabs can be a lot stronger than you think they're going to be. So proceed with caution. The general rule is start slow and start low and go slow.
Right. I mean, there are some medications people get right away from pharma. You don't know how Klonopin is going to hit you, and some
Sure.
people just fall right over.
Sure, absolutely.
They don't feel anxious anymore, but they don't feel like they can function.
Mm-hmm.
And all we're asking for, a lot of people, they're really down on pharma and like, pharma, and pharma's not good. I don't want to judge anyone for their choice. If you're using it responsibly and it works for you, it's really none of my business, and it's not for me to judge you or try to take it away from you. If it works for you, whether it's Klonopin, cannabis, or Ativan, or whatever it is, if you're using it responsibly and it works for you, then I really have no business in your life. If you're peaceful and you don't set my house on fire, you don't kidnap or hurt my kids, you don't rob me, it's none of my business.
Was there an article in Ladybud that I was reading? I think it was Ladybud. And it was about somebody who ate a 1,000 milligram chocolate bar and did a review on that. Was that your magazine? Was it Ladybud?
I'm not sure. Are you talking about the New York Times?
No. Somebody else, like a patient who went there to eat a 1,000 milligram chocolate bar.
I don't know. I know Fusion Network was trying to do something like that, and I just wouldn't recommend that. No. In Colorado, there's a law that says you have to portion out up to 100 milligrams for recreational products in 10 milligram pieces that are easily breakable and quantifiable. And I would recommend starting with 10 and waiting 45 minutes to an hour, because if you keep, you're like, it's not working yet, you take 20, 30, 40, and you're like, it's not working yet. When it is working, it's not going to be working the way you want it to.
Nighty-night.
You might as well cancel your plans while you either fall asleep for 15 hours or you get the spins and, wish that you weren't in Colorado.
Yeah, that's no fun either.
No, it's really not. But, as a medicine, different amounts work for different people. So there's no way I can say to someone, what would work for you? Because I don't know. I don't know their body. I don't know their pain. I don't know their anguish.
And it's highly individualized, too.
Exactly.
I mean, and people respond to it differently. It's one of the complaints that the physicians have about marijuana is that said, well, we don't know the dosage. We don't know the combination of cannabinoids that are appropriate for this. And they don't know, but that information is available to them. They just have to look and find it. And
not in medical school, it's not.
No, not in medical school. Only 14% of the medical schools even mention the endocannabinoid system.
How's that possible?
A whole new system in the human body, and the medical schools are ignoring it for the most part. So, it's but the information is out there. I mean, it's out there for talk to bud tenders, people in Colorado, where that level of expertise is really sophisticated now.
Well, it's really strange because if you're tending, say, a liquor store, you just go in, you get the job, after your interview. In Colorado, in order to work at a dispensary or to be a key holder, they just raise the prices. In order to simply work as a bud tender, as a person selling cannabis who has access to the register, you have to pay $175 to get that license. I'm not sure what it is for the key holders, as that price also changed, but you have to pay more than that. And you don't find that for other places. Just to get a job, you don't have to pay to get the job. Maybe you reimbursed for your uniform or something like that. But for the most part, I find it's really arbitrary. And that's not to say, again, that I don't think that it's not an effective program. A lot of people have been able to get access. Jenny Storms moved there, and I moved the same month as the Wilsons. We were crisscrossing each other in the country, and we both arrived there. I spent Christmas Eve with the Wilson family, with my own family, and it's nice to be able to see that at least her parents have the freedom to try to see what's working best and to try different things and have a community where they can be open about it and not necessarily fear that the state's going to come and take their special needs daughter from them. And I admire them so much. They really have done so much for our movement, not just in this state but internationally. When they were with Sanjay Gupta, Unfortunately, I feel like the Stanleys have not done such a great job because they're more interested in making money and sort of separating their own version of what they consider medicine, and they're pushing and funding a lot of those CBD-only laws, which I think is really, I mean, I won't get profane, but I think it's unfair and it's cruel, and it's a shame because they really had a lot of people on their team when they first, came on the scene to help people. But there are lots of people now who are producing high CBD strains in Colorado and in many other states. So I think it's good that the game is being equalized in that way in order to get access for, children or adults who have epilepsy or other conditions that require medicine.
And for some states, the CBD only laws may simply be a foot in the door, the camel's nose in the tent to at least start the access to whole plant cannabis, as a therapeutic agent. And it's the best they can do. And so we pass it and we move on to other states and continue to make progress throughout the country. I'm really glad to hear that you have contact with the Wilsons and Jenny Storms out there. It's so sad. I mean, the Wilsons were here. They had their own press conferences here in the State House before they had to leave, and they really are a remarkable family. So I'm glad that you do have contact with this family that had to leave their beautiful home in Scotch Plains, New Jersey.
Yeah, I've not seen Jenny in Colorado, but I have seen the Wilsons a lot since, because they live a lot closer to me. I think that Jenny might be in Colorado Springs, which, excuse me, is a little bit further from my house. It's not super duper far, but I'm in a lot of contact with the Wilsons. In fact, Vanessa Waltz, who's also on the board at CMMNJ, was a managing editor at Ladybud in the near past, and she's done a lot of stories with the Wilsons, and we eulogized the Jana's baby. It's just what really makes me mad is it's not simply a matter of politics. These are people's lives. They're not chess pieces on a board. They're not these inanimate objects. They're families who've struggled for years, every day, and every time their child has a seizure, there is a potential for terminality, death, and I know that the Wilsons are very close to their family here, and they also are, looking to sell their house, I believe, or they did rent it for a while, but they're renting out in Denver because they don't want to live there. They just don't want their kid to die, and every time I go to their house and I see Vivian and I see how they're still struggling. I mean, she's not completely seizure-free. She just has a lot less seizures than she did. And it's just, it breaks my heart because they didn't have to move. If Governor Christie would just wake up, if he would just have a heart, like maybe grow one in a lab and have it implanted in his hollow chest, these people wouldn't have to have moved from their grandpa and their grandmother and everyone they knew and all of their doctors, and there are many, that they have relationships with.
And it was 2 years ago that the law that they inspired for edibles for minors got passed here in New Jersey, and there's still no edibles available in New Jersey.
Nope.
There's still not a single edible available in the entire state of New Jersey.
Still waiting.
And
2 years later.
And that's so terrible because, as you were saying, families, they have to uproot themselves in order to go to a place where they can get these edibles for either themselves or maybe something for their children. And it's I feel like Christy should really go visit these families, and then they have them share their story with him, because he just thinks, oh well, it's just some bill, maybe it doesn't have that effect, but it does. And I think it's just awful that people have to change their lives just to help either themselves or their children.
And if you really think about it in a fiscal sense, I contributed $6,000 a year alone in real estate taxes in New Jersey. So I was a tax-paying citizen who kept up on my taxes here, giving this state money. But because I can't have cannabis as a medicine and save my life and protect my children, this state, how many people we don't even know have left this state or other states in order to go to states that are open-minded enough and who have referendums or, open-minded people introducing bills and being voted on and getting approved, even by a bare majority. I didn't want to leave. I love New Jersey and I love Pennsylvania. I didn't want to leave, but we did what we had to do, and it's just unfair.
You're right. We don't hear all the kids that left. We know Jackson. We know Vivian. We know Sarah just left for Maine. Sarah Estrella.
Ricardo Rivera came out there with Poe or
Yeah.
Richard Tamaccio a few weeks ago, and they stopped by my house. And you know, Ricardo, it's hard because he's with his daughter all the time, and for him to leave her to try to come out to Colorado to do research and try to figure out what he can do or what he can know, and to get people on his side for medical cannabis because his daughter has so many seizures every day. And I wonder if Governor Christie even has a conscience. I don't know if he even has a heart that beats. You can't do things like that and have people want to vote for you for president. You know, they want somebody who speaks for the people, not for their royal court as the king.
When you have to beg the governor, don't let my daughter die, governor. Don't let my
He
daughter
doesn't
die.
care.
When you have to beg someone for that, there's a problem.
He doesn't care.
Hey, you know, I was at a town hall meeting several years ago with Governor Christie, and I asked him about improving the medical marijuana program, and he said no, he wasn't going to do that. But at the same town hall meeting, Jen Landy was there, and she explained.
He basically said he didn't care if she lived or died.
She explained to him that she was dying because she could not keep food down, and it was only marijuana that would keep her alive. And you know what he told her? He said, "I can't worry about you. I have an entire state to worry about." That's what he said.
Like she's the only person in this state
It's
with
like-
that medical issue.
It's
My
like,
God.
You know, well, I think he forgets that the state is made up of people.
Exactly. And I think if it was one of his own, he
Of
would turn
course.
around in a second.
Of course.
And that's the part that's most pathetic. Like, you don't care about other people. Other people have families, and other people's lives matter too. But the minute it's your family member,
Yeah.
he'll change his whole tune.
Well, it certainly worked with a number of people. You know, they had to wait until they actually saw it happen in their own family before they realized how necessary medical marijuana can be, and how important it can be to a person's life and his quality of life too.
That's all I can do.
That's it. I have people in my own family that still don't believe in medical marijuana. Even after I got off all those pills, I was on OxyContin for 10 years, roxicodone, 90 milligrams every 3 hours of Roxy. I don't take anything anymore. I'm off the Valium, all of it. But you figure my parents, not parents and my family would be supportive? No, not supportive at all.
Well, we run into some people who are like, when do you think cannabis will be legal in various states? Because my mom is sick, and because it's illegal, won't even try it to see if it will work, because some people, they're law-abiding citizens to a fault, you know, even if it could save their life or improve their quality of death, because I think that, you know, to have that kind of dignity and awareness before you're passed is so important. But their options are things that'll knock them out, like morphine or Dilaudid, and it's really unfortunate because some people can't say goodbye. They just pass away under a drug stupor because it's legal. And I can't fault them for that, but it kills me when we have people say that to us. You know, I wish my mom would try the cannabis so she would have a couple more months or a couple more weeks and be aware, but she won't take it because it's not legal.
Right.
You know?
Or it may contribute to a bad reaction to the cannabis too. You know, they say, "Oh, it's, you know, here I am, I'm doing something illegal, and now I'm having a paranoid reaction because of it." You know, so.
Well,
so
they don't have the choice to choose between a sativa, indica, or a hybrid. You know,
Right,
sometimes you just
right.
got to get what your dude has, and
Yeah,
you know, and that's
yeah.
sometimes not what's going to
That's
work for you.
a good point. A good point. Some strains of marijuana are more likely to induce paranoia than other strains of marijuana. So these are things, you know, that are only available in a legal atmosphere, that you know, where you have
Right.
the ability to go in and say, these are my issues. What is going to be best for me? What dosage? What form of marijuana? What strain of marijuana? And you know, we just don't have that.
Lack of choice is a lack of freedom. And when you say you have a medical, you know, edible law or a medical law, and then there are no edibles to even choose from, there's no quality, there's no consistency, there's not really a lot of testing labs. I remember Peter Rosenfeld went into one of the dispensaries here, and they didn't even know what they were talking about. You know, they had wet bud. It wasn't cured. It wasn't dried. I mean, probably had mold on it. And if you're sick, if you have physical illness, you know, that can kill you.
Yes.
Well, that was early on in the ATC experience. I don't know that that's a consistent problem here in New Jersey. I've heard that the bud actually is pretty good, isn't it? I mean, you
Well,
get the bud.
Montclair has great weed.
Montclair,
The
really?
blueberry. I just buy blueberry. Up
Can
there.
everybody get to Montclair who's
No.
a patient?
And,
No, of course not.
And are they full time? Are they open full time?
They're open Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. I'm good. I'm glad to hear that
They're before 6, or you suffer.
Mhm.
But
So right now there are 3 dispensaries. The one in Greenleaf in Montclair, the one in Egg Harbor.
is Egg Harbor open?
As far as I
Is
know,
Egg
it
Harbor open, guys? Hey guys, is Egg Harbor still open or no? No, nobody knows.
Well, and the
I don't
third
think
one
so.
is Woodbridge. Now,
Belmar too. Belmar is just going to open.
Belmar just got their license to
yeah.
grow, so we're going to have another one in South Jersey in a couple of months. They should have product available, assuming all goes well. But nothing seems to really go well. With
No,
No
it's a
patient
mess.
transportation program, no delivery service,
Yeah.
no
No.
help.
Yeah, there
Nothing.
was supposed to be a delivery service for medical marijuana, but the regs took that out.
But you can deliver the patients to the cannabis. So if you had a delivery service to deliver patients to the cannabis, you could do that legally.
True. Yes, and you can you can designate a caregiver, though.
Yes.
The caregiver's got to go through a criminal justice background and a
Fingerprint.
background check and get their own ID card and have to spend $200 to get an ID card just to go and buy marijuana for a patient. You know,
It's
it
usury.
really
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of the hoops that they make patients and caregivers jump through just to get medicine here in New Jersey.
I mean, when you
Garden State.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they call it the no garden state now.
Yeah.
When they took home cultivation out of our law.
Yeah.
That really stinks. I mean, it's hard enough to grow cannabis in your house, but having the freedom to do it means you have some likelihood of success at some point,
Well, were those the buds on that television show, the Fusion show, were they the buds from your closet? I mean, they look beautiful, though.
I'm not
Or
sure.
was that
they
a
showed a lot of cannabis from a lot of places.
She-
So,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
but they did the
was
plants.
very
they
nice
the
buds.
plants they showed with Terry, my husband.
Right.
Those were definitely our plants. So
Yeah,
if those
yeah,
are you're referring
that's
to,
what I
yes,
thought,
those
yeah.
are ours.
Mhm.
It's strange because I actually want to grow outside. I'm not saying I'm not ungrateful for the ability to grow in our closet. My husband takes care of that mostly, but I wish we could grow outside. I think it's a beautiful plant and it should have the freedom, and it would use a lot less resources.
Yeah.
We wouldn't use as much electricity. Our plants might be less likely to have indoor borne diseases or
Problems,
mites
right.
and things like that. I mean, certainly if they're outside, they'll have other kinds of issues, but we definitely wouldn't be spending as much money on electricity.
Did you buy all your equipment out there?
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, some of it was mailed to us. Some of it were, supposed to be review items for Ladybud.
Nice.
But those lights were so strong they burnt our first crops.
What kind of lights?
I don't really know. I'm not a grower. I'm a philosopher. You have to talk to my husband.
Growing itself is so therapeutic, I mean,
It is.
I like to pet them and talk to them.
I love to garden,
I'll water 'em
and
if he's out of
yeah.
town.
no, it's just great to get your fingers in the soil and to watch your little plants grow, and it's a beautiful thing.
I'd like someone to send us some LED lights that we could test out and do a product review. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
It's kind of easy to get stuff sent to you so long as you start showing the stuff that they send you.
Oh, I'll do that. No problem. Here you go. Pot pocket. Here. Send me more pot pockets, guys. These are the best things ever. You put your joint in there. I like that.
Oh, it's like an accordion of weed.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, pot pocket. So
That's
I support
funny.
pot pockets. And we also support medical-freedom.com. Medical-freedom.com. Get your State of Compassion flag at medical-freedom.com.
And the
There you go.
Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey has meetings on the second Tuesday of every month at the Lawrence Township Library from 7 to 9 p.m. Public is invited. All are welcome. Snacks are served.
I will testify that Ken's snacks are the best. He has the best cheeses and the best crackers. He serves the brie and some. What else do you have?
Well, sometimes we have sausage and different types of cheeses.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah, he wears an ascot sometimes too, so it tastes extra
You're making me
fancy.
hungry. All right, since you're here and you're a board member, you guys have to revisit this issue. We have to podcast these board meetings, these coalition meetings. So there's a lot of patients that can't access these meetings. And the reason why we're podcasting here is
Yeah,
a
we'll
lot of
bring that
patients.
up at another board meeting, whether or not we should podcast our meetings. We haven't done that in the past. The board made the decision that patients patients oftentimes will divulge more than they plan to divulge. They'll divulge their medical conditions onto the internet. They'll incriminate themselves, by talking about their use of marijuana and how it helps them. And
Don't we do that here?
Well, yes, we do, but people are aware of it. I mean,
Well, yeah,
people
make 'em aware of it.
people coming to a meeting, don't expect to do that. So, we try to make it a supportive environment for the patients and a very protective environment while still being a public meeting. So, but we can talk about that at our next board meeting.
It would help people that
Diane,
can't make
about-
these meetings. I
about
can't make
whether-
these meetings.
Yeah.
I'd love to be involved in these
Uh-huh.
things.
Well, people around the state can have their own coalition for medical marijuana in New Jersey.
I want to be on your meeting, Ken. You're the smart guy. I want to hear
Well,
you.
you get our agenda, and you can talk about the things that are on our agenda. We, if you sign up at CMMNJ.org, just give us your email address. We'll send you the monthly updates. And about 1 week before the meeting, we'll send you a detailed agenda about all the things we're going to talk about, along with the minutes of the last meeting that we talked about. So you'll know what we talk about at these meetings, and you're free to hold your own meetings up in North Jersey, South Jersey, wherever you like.
At the same time, you're having your meeting?
You can do it whenever you like. You can have it at different times too. So
I don't want to compete with you.
That's something for you to think about.
Okay.
We want to get the information out. We do want to get the information
Yes,
out.
let's do that.
And we'll
You've
also
had
talk
them
about
all over. You've had them
yeah,
in Collingswood.
we have had them in different
and-
parts of the state, but not as regularly as we've had them here.
Well, we have them here.
And we had
Right here, right now.
Yeah.
On Thursday. Seriously, why not? We could do this. How many board members? 6? 8? You could fit them all around the table.
We have 10 now. We
10.
actually
Oh,
have
10.
10.
All right,
board
we're
Well,
gonna
I live in Colorado, so maybe
We'll
Yeah.
Skype you
I
in.
have to call
and we
them.
have
We'll
and,
get this
and
done.
Vanessa lives in New Mexico.
Let's do this. Let's get this done, man. Come on, seriously, let's do this. Right here, right in front of Christie's office, have a board meeting. How cool would that
Well,
be?
board meetings are typically private and
Oh,
not for
oh, yeah,
public
sorry.
consumption.
Yeah, no,
but you
not
mean
the
the
board.
public
The public
meetings,
meeting.
right?
Public meeting,
You
yeah.
know what I mean.
Right.
That'd be great. So, would you guys mind if I read a little news?
I don't
Please.
mind at all.
There is some news today I'd like to get to. Humor, love, police, a strange mix at the Cannabis Church. The First Church of Cannabis holds its first service to a packed house, sharing love and testimony while protesters state their opposition outside. A band pumped out Rick James' Funky Mary Jane, inspiring dancing in the aisles. Are you guys done with us? Oh, you guys are getting food. Okay. I didn't mean for you guys to get up and leave. I was just going to read the news. Oh, boy. Hold on. Let's do a quick spot here. This is food from Barini's Old World Market. Barini's Old World Market in Randolph, New Jersey. And they cater our Thursday events. And this is some amazing food. We got egg salad. I want one of those egg salads, man. Oh, good God. Look at this. Look at this food here. This is how you do it. Munchy food. Munchy food. So the Church of Cannabis made its debut on the Indiana's Religious Freedom Restoration Act became law. The 1-hour church service was held without any use of illegal drugs. Doing so could have only led to arrests and an anticipated court battle. Now, wait a minute. How come the Church of Cannabis can't use their cannabis there, but we can go to Ed Fortune's place down here and smoke all the weed we want? How come? Why is that? Don't they have medical laws in Indiana, or no? I guess not. No. So, okay, there's no... So how are they going to get away with smoking cannabis at this church? They can't, right? Legally? Mr. Wolski? I don't think so. I think they have a problem there.
There is no legal protection for the use of marijuana in the United States.
Right, right.
So this is a problem. This is one of the issues that that the weed man actually brought up in his appeal of his conviction. The judge in the trial that he took part in, and he was convicted of possession of marijuana in Burlington County Court in 2012, I believe it was. The judge would not let Ed Fortune, the New Jersey weed man, talk about the fact that he was a Rastafarian, and Rastafarians use marijuana religiously. They use it as a sacrament in their religion. They believe that marijuana is a holy plant, and that marijuana was given to man by God for the healing of the nations. And he was not allowed to talk about any of that to the jury. He was not allowed to explain the only reason, one of the reasons that he actually used marijuana. And so right now he's got this question under appeal at the Superior Court Appellate Division, and hopefully there'll be a decision about that soon.
Oh, here you go. I'll do this in a Harry Anslinger voice. Emerson Ottinger was among the neighborhood residents adamantly opposed to the Church of Cannabis. He gave away water bottles with Bible verses on them. He also had a sign with a Bible verse.
Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour.
That's my Harry Anslinger voice. Harry Anslinger was a racist prohibitionist in the 30s, and he does a good job reading this news.
They get going and they get a little high. All of a sudden, they're breaking in and stealing all of your stuff. We know we've been lobbying downtown for marijuana for years. Everything he has done has failed. We're praying that this will be another failure as well. Meh, meh, meh.
That's my Harry Anslinger impression. Pretty good, huh? I usually wear a hood because he's a hooder.
It is a pretty good impression.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Harry Anslinger, he was a jerk, but I can do him pretty good. So, boy, Church of Cannabis. I like Ed Fortune's church a little better. It's safer. I feel safe there. I enjoy smoking there. I enjoy the food there. And as of this week, here's another big news item. Recreational marijuana is now legal in Oregon. Yes, folks, recreational marijuana legal in Oregon. People 21 and over can now possess up to an ounce of pot when away from home and up to 8 ounces at home. It's also legal to grow up to 4 plants per household. However, there is no way to legally buy it unless you're a medical marijuana patient. The newspaper says that the Oregon legislature and the Oregon Liquor Control Commission are still crafting regulations that will shape the industry. It's a good thing, man. Baby steps, baby steps. In populous parts of the state that have long been tolerant of marijuana, police don't generally bust people using it in private. Most importantly, though, it is now under the new law, it is still illegal to sell recreational marijuana. When Oregon voters approved Measure 91 last November, they left the job of writing the rules for pot shops to the legislature and the Liquor Control Agency, which so far hasn't gotten it all figured out yet. Boy, let's see. What will get me in trouble under the new law? Exceeding possession limits, driving under the influence, buying or possessing it if you're not 21, importing or exporting, I don't know.
Oregon was one of the first. Oregon was the very first state to decriminalize marijuana back in the 70s. I think it was 1973 when they first decriminalized marijuana in the United States, and that was the start of the reform, basically, in the early to mid 70s. And we really thought that marijuana was going to be legalized throughout the country in just a few years at that point. The penalties were so draconian against marijuana at the time. You know, you could go to jail for 20 years to life for possession of a single joint in many places in the United States back in the 70s. But that led a wave of decriminalization. You know, there were actually 30-some states that passed medical marijuana laws back in the 1980s. But these laws were not, they didn't provide medical access for patients. They only allowed for to protect patients who were engaged in clinical trials of marijuana. The problem was that New Jersey was one of those laws, and was one of those states. You know, we passed our Compassionate Controlled Dangerous Substances Therapeutic Research Act in 1981, and that was designed to protect patients who were involved in clinical trials of marijuana, but there were no clinical trials of marijuana, and there never were. There has never been a clinical trial of marijuana in the state of New Jersey. So there's never been a clinical trial. Not a single patient has ever engaged in a clinical trial of marijuana in the state of New Jersey. So, you know, for people who say we need more research, you know, it's just you can't get the research done here in the state of New Jersey. So you can't get the research done hardly anywhere in the country. Everybody's going away. Okay, all right. Take your time. So we're the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey. We're here to educate the public about the benefits of marijuana. We have a bill, A3726, that authorizes medical marijuana for qualifying patients in New Jersey. It passed in the Assembly, and we hope that the Senate will take it up and pass it in the Senate and allow marijuana to be used for post-traumatic stress disorder here in the state of New Jersey. what the Senate just passed. The Senate just passed another bill that sped through the New Jersey legislature in record time, and this bill was to allow for children who have seizure disorders and other serious medical conditions to use their marijuana in schools. So this bill was A 4587 that passed in the Assembly. It was very unusual. It was introduced on June 22nd in the Assembly. It was introduced. And it passed through the Assembly just a few days later on the 25th, I believe, of June, and now it went on to pass in the Senate just this past Monday rather, and now this bill is going on to the Governor Christie's desk for his signature, and we certainly hope that he signs it in a timely manner and protects these children who need to use marijuana in schools. What this bill would do would require facilities providing services to people with developmental disabilities and for various schools to adopt policies that permit the administration of medical marijuana to qualifying patients in these schools. So it certainly has the overwhelming support of the New Jersey State Legislature that passed this with a veto-proof majority. So we certainly hope that there's not going to be any problem having the governor sign this bill into law. This was a result of the story of the Barber's family. The Laura and Roger Barber have a daughter, a 16-year-old daughter named Jenny, who is autistic and has a seizure disorder, and that she finally got her seizure disorder under control with medical marijuana after trying about 13 different anticonvulsants, and the poor girl actually had brain surgery too. They took out a golf ball size of her brain in an unsuccessful attempt to stop these seizures, and then finally what stopped the seizures after was medical marijuana. Medical marijuana was the only thing that stopped the girl's seizures, and it also controlled her autistic behavior, her very aggressive behavior that she was experiencing. So, and she goes to a special school, the Lark School in Burlington County, down in Maple Shade, and the Lark School refused to give her the medical marijuana that she needed at her noontime dose of medical marijuana. So the girl started having more problems. So the Roger and Laura sued the school board. They sued the school, the Lark School, and to force them to allow the girl to have her noontime dose of medical marijuana. And right now they look for an emergent relief, but the Office of Administrative Law, the Judge Kennedy there denied the emergent relief, and so then they had a full hearing, and we don't know how that hearing went. Well, you know, they had the hearing. We don't know the results of that hearing yet because Judge Kennedy hasn't written his decision yet. But you know, we certainly hope that the judge, when he gets all the facts, will reverse his initial decision and allow for the use of medical marijuana in the school. He said that the school faced greater harm than the child, but you know, the child can have a fatal seizure, so the school could potentially face some funding difficulties from the federal government because marijuana is still illegal federally. So, you know, the harm that can come to the child by not getting the medical marijuana in school is far greater than the harm that can come to the school by forbidding the child, by allowing the child to have access to medical marijuana. So, you know, we certainly hope he gets it right. This particular case has been written up in People magazine, and even Good Housekeeping came out and did a very big article about the entire story of the Barbers in Maple Shade at their school. And we certainly hope that the kind of national pressure that is being brought to bear on this case will influence the judge's decision in a favorable manner and allow the judge to issue a ruling that allows the girl to have her marijuana in school. Right now at noon. Right now she's only going to school half day. That's the best they can do. She goes to school half day, and then they have to take her back the rest of the day so that she can have her noontime medicine, and that and have her medicine throughout the day. Yes, sir. We're the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, New Jersey. We're the Coalition for Medical Marijuana. We're talking about the benefits of marijuana therapy and the various laws that are going on right now. The Barber story. So while this Barber story is going on in court, and then in June, the legislature has introduced bills in the two houses of the legislature to force these schools or allow these schools to develop policies that would allow the children who have these are medical marijuana patients, allow the children to get the marijuana in the school. Now they won't be smoking the marijuana in the schools. They'll be using it in an oral form, either as an edible product or an oil, and because they need it. I mean, if a doctor says you have to take your medicine 4 times a day, you have to take your medicine 4 times a day. You don't take it 3 times a day, you take it 4 times a day. You have to get steady state to control these seizures. I mean, by God, when you go through all those anticonvulsant medications, the anticonvulsant medications you have to take on a regular basis, or establish a good firm blood level, steady state blood level, in order to prevent the convulsions. So hopefully the governor will sign that. Wayne, nice to see you.
Great to see you, Ken.
And thank you for this wonderful sandwiches. We've been having them from Barini's Old World Market in Randolph, New Jersey.
Very good.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful of you just to contribute these sandwiches to help keep us going. I was starving last week. Somehow you didn't make it here last week.
No, I didn't. No, hold on.
I brought a peanut butter and jelly just in case you didn't show up today.
All right, Ken, so I got questions for you.
Go ahead.
So you're talking about A4357, I believe?
Correct. 4587.
I'm sorry. 4587.
Yes, Senate bill is number 3049, but that was substituted for a 4587. So
Why did they do that?
It was just a procedural move so that they wouldn't have to. There was no committee hearing on this Senate bill. That's very unusual to have a bill go to the floor of the Senate and not go through committee first. It's almost unheard of in the state of New Jersey as a legislative process. This is one of this bill has gone through the legislature faster than almost any other bill in the history of the New Jersey legislature. So, I mean, it just really, and it passed. I think there were only 4 negative votes in the Senate.
Yeah, I gotta commend State Senator Anthony Bucco, Republican. I know y'all want to hate the Republicans, but actually a Republican voted for it. That's all. Mm-hmm. He also represents me.
Finally.
That might have something to do with something.
No, I'm a Green Party member, so I hate the Republicans as much as the Democrats, quite frankly. But typically, I must say that the Democrats have been more supportive than the Republicans on the issue of medical marijuana.
Yes.
If you talk to your representatives, sometimes they listen.
Yeah. So good.
You know, so
you reached out to your representative.
I've been doing it to Assemblyman Michael Patrick Carroll,
he's
another
great.
Republican.
He's a very good guy.
And I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised that Senator Anthony Bucco, I like that nice Italian fellow Italian, and Senator Bucco, who's I didn't think he'd vote for it, but he did. That impressed me.
Yeah.
You know, because I know I'm not the only one banging on his door, flooding his emails. You know, Don Karpowicz, he also has been. Lefty has been too. You know, so the only thing I'm a little upset about is what happened to S2890.
Which one?
That's with the PTSD.
PTSD, yeah. I don't think they're going to take up the issue of post-traumatic stress disorder, medical marijuana for post-traumatic stress disorder in this session. Technically, the legislature's already on vacation, for the summer. However, the Senate is coming back. Now,
I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Theoretically, the Senate could do that.
Real quick, how many How many veterans commit suicide a day?
22 veterans commit suicide in the United States, just in the
And
United
this
States
bill wasn't
alone.
that important enough for him? Sorry, I got to shame him real quick because that kind of disappoints me.
Well, yeah, it's a great disappointment. 1896, I think, was the bill number. 1896, and of the on the Senate side. So, yeah, it was a we were very disappointed because the bill did pass on the Assembly side. So all they had to do was basically rubber stamp what the Assembly did, and the Senate chose not to bring it up. Yeah, well, it was a major disappointment, but we can't give up on it. We have to look at the progress we've made with this legislation, and we have to continue to work on the progress and continue to expand access to medical marijuana for the various conditions and that it can help. And our priority has been for years that PTSD is the first qualifying condition that we want to add to the medicinal marijuana program, out of respect for our veterans and out of respect for people like Diane here, who was just here and talking about her complex PTSD as a result of childhood trauma. So, it helps better than any pharmaceutical drug for PTSD, medical marijuana, and the pharmaceutical drugs really are no better than a placebo and often cause damage and can lead to suicide in itself.
If it diverts anyone from suicide, how do you say no to that? It's common sense.
Yeah, it's hard to turn down. I was quite disappointed that the Senate didn't take it up again. I think you're looking at a certain Christie veto for that. So that might be part of the Senate's thinking. Why should we waste our time trying to pass a bill that they
veto
know?
it.
Well, that's what I say. That's what I say.
Do we gotta play the like we're the commentators in a football game? Do we have to do that? I think it's commonsensical. If you pass the Senate, I'm talking, the PTSD bill, and you put it right on Governor Christie's desk while he is officially running for president, let him turn that down.
Yeah.
I want to see him turn that down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
that's a no-brainer. Hello, and these guys are on vacation. Maybe someone should email him that, please. Maybe I'll talk to Senator Bucco about it.
Well, I heard that the Senate is going to be coming back for some special sessions during the legislative break, but and they could theoretically take it up again.
When do they have to come back? When's the latest? We got to find this stuff out.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think it's not until the fall.
Because I don't.
It's a summer break.
If I didn't have to be back till the fall, I mean, we know how New Jersey, we know how they do things in Jersey. They're probably not going to be back here until the fall.
Yeah.
But still, if you're out there, if you're watching, if you're listening, don't be afraid to. Don't even bother wasting time with your assemblyman, because your assemblyman either already passed it or not.
Right.
You talk to your state senator in New Jersey. Go to CMMNJ.org, and they'll tell you who represents you, who your state senator is. And you just go there and send them a nice little letter, email. Trust me, even though they're on vacation, they will get it. They will receive it.
Oh yes, absolutely.
They will hear you.
Yeah, there's somebody in their office, even though they're not sitting here in Trenton.
The only people that's not going to hear them are the 22 committing suicide each day.
Yeah. The New Jersey legislative website is really the best place to find out, who your legislator is if you don't already know.
I know. I just like to put it on you.
Yeah. Well, you can go to cmmmnj.org, but we don't have a direct link to the legislative website. But go to New Jersey Legislature and just type that in Google search, and it'll take you right there. And it's a very friendly website. It gives you various options. You can find your legislator by your legislative district, if you happen to know that, or you can find your legislator by the town you live in, or the name. If you know one of them, you can find the other one. There's 2 assemblymen and 1 senator in each of the 20 legislative districts. So there you have it.
Did I miss it? Is there a vote coming up? When is that vote?
No, we don't know. No. Like we said, technically
Pulled a fast one on us, bro.
Yeah.
While we were worried about this child bill, which is very important, okay, and we're glad that passed, and we're glad that got fast tracked. Well, the Senate, that is, kind of sat on the S-289E that was passed in the Assembly.
Oh, they're still sitting on that.
Well, they're on vacation now.
While veterans are dying, wait, is it 22 veterans a day are dying? Is that the number? So while that's happening, 22 a day are dying. So while 22 veterans a day are dying,
They're down the Jersey Shore.
they're down the shore,
Hanging out.
Hold on.
chilling. Really?
Drinking
Do you think they're down the Jersey Shore, or is it probably Ocean City? I bet you the rich go to Ocean City in Maryland.
No, they're in the Hamptons.
The Hamptons?
The Hamptons.
Harvey. Park the car. Harvey. Oh, boy.
God, our politicians, we don't need to make jokes about them because they are a joke. They already are a joke. And I can say that because I'm not on the board of anything. I can say whatever I want because I'm on no boards. Nobody can complain about anything that I say.
I don't know.
Thank
People have been complaining.
Oh, let me just say one thing. And I don't want to quote. I am very, very tolerant.
Don't go there. Don't
no,
go
I'm
there.
very tolerant of being respectful. So I took that picture down. I took the picture down that was offensive.
real?
I did. I took it down. But I took the picture down of me dressed as Jesus in front of the Weed Man's
Lord
joint.
of mercy.
I took it down. But let me just say one thing.
I don't know what.
We're
what
talking
was
about
it,
the same
Jesus?
weed man, that walked around Trenton with a crucifix on his back, and the same weed man that has pictures of himself crucifying himself as Jesus. I'm just saying.
Forgive me,
It's the same
Father,
weed man,
if I have
right?
sinned.
Okay, I'm
I
just
did
saying.
the same thing.
This
I'm
is something
sorry.
that the weed man would do.
I did it twice.
I'm not doing anything that the weed man wouldn't do himself. I'm just saying. But I took it down out of respect because I don't want to cause problems, so I took it down. But normally, I
I
would.
see that picture. That was pretty funny.
I can't put that picture out. It offended. If it offends one person that I respect and like, then it's too much. But they,
Wow, are you kidding me? Then you better put all your videos down.
I have to take all my videos down, actually.
That's nice.
No, I need to know the parameters because I have long hair. See, look at this. Wait, hold on.
What'd you shave the sides for? You look like an Apache Indian now.
Am I not allowed to do this anymore?
No, shout out to David Gallup, my favorite Apache.
Am I not allowed to do this anymore? And if I show up at the Weed Man's joint dressed in a robe, is that going to be problematic for me?
I have one of those crown of thorns.
No, that's Jesus. I don't want to be Jesus. I don't want to be Lefty.
You look good, Lefty.
If I wear a robe, would that be problematic? Would people think I'm Jesus? And that could be a problem.
Are we talking a bathrobe? Like Tony Soprano wore, when he was
Hey,
getting
with a
his mail?
newspaper? I like that look. I love that look on him.
Hey, you bother me about it, hey?
Hey, where's my paper? Hey, get the papers. Get the papers.
I'll shoot the mailman.
So I don't know. I'm just a little confused. I need parameters and borders and know what I should do, what I shouldn't do. Because Ed Fortune had no problem with me dressed as
Holy
Jesus.
moly.
That's all I can say.
Look who's across the street, people.
Who's that?
The one.
There's
the
Ed
only.
Fortune.
Ed Fortune, the very person. you're talking-
NJ
Can we get-
Weed Man.
Weed Man, you need to clear up something for me, man.
Uh-oh.
Now,
He's coming.
He's coming over? Okay, he's coming over.
He's going to be a little incognito
All
right
right.
now.
You keep saying that. You're going to get smacked by somebody.
Come on. I learned it from Denzel Washington.
You have to say it like Harry Anslinger. No, don't.
Incognito. No, I can't say it right then. Incog.
so just to be clear on this, the religious problem.
Yes.
Religious.
You said that people smoke marijuana in Weed Man's temple, but
Yes.
these are legally the only people who can do that in New Jersey are medical marijuana patients who have a medical marijuana card.
Yes.
They even though my understanding is it's a Rastafarian temple, and the Rastafarians
about
use
Rastafarian.
marijuana. Oh, you don't think it's Rastafarian? It had the.
It's not Christian because they kicked Jesus out.
It had that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I am kidding. I am kidding.
Ken, are
God
you
forgive
aware
me.
of the tribe in
That's
India?
funny. That's funny.
I know it is.
It's
Oh,
pretty
which
funny,
one?
son.
In India, there's a tribe of Indians,
Oh,
and
well-
they've been
You can see him. That's
smoking
too
pot
bad.
longer than the Rastafarians.
Oh yeah, well no, absolutely. That marijuana's been used in religious sense throughout history in many
Right.
cultures, and it's used not only in the Rastafarian religion but in many pagan religions here in the United States as well. The ability for marijuana to enhance the spiritual awareness
Right.
has been well recognized throughout history, and
Absolutely.
it's just never been officially recognized by the
Pope?
So wait a minute.
by
Are you
the
trying to
United
say that
States.
Jesus could have been using cannabis in his
Yes.
anointing oils?
Yes.
He could have been, yes.
That's
yeah.
shocking.
I think he was actually.
That's
Not could have been,
blasphemous.
should have been, would have
That-
been, but
That's
he
blasphemous.
Is that
was.
blasphemous? No, that's
Some
dare
people
you.
believe that.
Some people believe that's
I believe
blasphemous.
that.
Yeah, and some people believe that the moon is heaven. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Hello.
What do you think Jesus was using? They've been using cannabis forever. Of course, Jesus had anointing oils.
As an anointing
Come
oil,
on,
yeah.
guys.
Some people do. They make a strong case for that, Wayne. Actually.
I don't know the people you're talking to.
Well, who are you talking to?
So I'm talking to some crazy people. You're even that's even crazier. Jeez.
So anyway, just America considers itself a country that prides itself on its religious freedom and its religious tolerance. Unless that religion uses marijuana, and then forget it. But I went.
Funny.
I went to the oral
Stop
arguments of the Weed Man's appellate case in Superior Court Appellate Division. I went to the oral arguments, and one of the judges asked the assistant prosecutor in Burlington County why they would not allow the religious use of marijuana, and the prosecutor said, well, because then everyone would claim an exemption.
So
that means that the justification for arresting Rastafarians and confiscating their property and destroying their sacrament is because there will be too many Rastafarians if they don't do that. If they don't come down on them with the strong hammer of the criminal justice system, there's going to be too many of them. That's the same thing the Romans said when they threw Christians to the lions. If we don't do this, they're going to lose respect for our pagan gods, and there's only going to be Christian. Hey.
Wow.
Bill Caruso.
He's back. Uh-oh.
He's back.
Somebody give that gentleman a mic.
Very important man for the New Jersey United for Marijuana Reform. The New Jersey, the coalition of the ACLU in New Jersey,
he's the top gun.
And Bill's one of the big bananas in the New Jersey United for Marijuana Reform. So glad to have him here and at the State House.
Awesome.
And I wonder if he had. I was wondering if he had something to do with the Asbury Park.
A little bit, he says.
A little bit to do with the Asbury Park resolution to legalize marijuana. So
who was in the press release? The chief of police, Salerno, the same guy that's in our video in Asbury.
Oh, really?
That's the guy. That's the guy that told me to go up the street. He said, listen, my wife has something, whatever. My ex-wife has something. He says, go up the street and go behind a tree and use your cannabis. Now, this is a crack-filled street with gangbangers and people with guns. He wanted me to walk up a street and hide behind a tree in some gangbangers neighborhood and smoke a joint. Really?
Why not?
But it's probably cool like that,
Why
because
not?
if
You
they see you
probably
smoking weed, that
could've
means you're
turned
cool. You're
it.
not a cop, so they'll leave you alone and let you do your thing, all right?
Come on, man.
They probably
You'll
would
be
have
all right.
been like,
You're right, right? You're alive.
What's the marijuana?
So what did he say about the Asbury Park? He said he was kind of non-committal about it, right? I mean, he didn't.
No, at the end, you're talking about the chief at the end?
Yeah.
The third time we went back, the chief said to us, I am going to train all my officers in the Kuma guidelines. Every one of my officers is going to be aware that we have a medical marijuana program in New Jersey. Yes. Oh, where's my handheld mic? We got to get the handheld.
So but I was wondering, do you remember if he had a if he had a response to the Asbury Park resolution about legalizing marijuana? The police chief there.
I'm surprised he's even here, to be honest with you.
Who's that?
Bill.
No. Yeah, especially
He's supposed
since.
to be on vacation, technically, right?
Well, the Senate is still working. They're still coming back and forth, and so they're still around. They still are making some decisions, and whether or not they'll pass any more medical marijuana legislation while they're technically on vacation remains to be seen. We certainly hope so. Certainly the legislation to allow children who are medical marijuana patients to use their medical marijuana in schools, that's on Governor Christie's desk right now, and we certainly hope that he will sign that legislation.
Assemblyman Reed Gusiura also here.
Gusiura.
I'm sorry.
Check.
Here.
Man in the street.
Mic check.
Man in the street.
It would.
Man in the street. Man in the street. Go over there.
So.
Please get what you can, Slav. Slav is in the house. He's our man on the street.
All right, Slav.
Grab what you can, buddy. Please.
Get over there, Slav. That means go quickly. That means get them while they're talking. I don't know if he understands radio too much, but he's over here. The weed man. You walk right past the.
You want me to talk to these?
Oh, good God.
Weed man, how you doing today?
No. Let's just.
I'm always good.
Yeah. I want to know what they're talking about.
Well, you go over there and interrupt.
Do it. You need to do it, Evil Ed.
Hey, weed man, can we talk to you too over here? We got some craziness going on here. But this is what's great about the podcast, because people show up all the time. We never know who's going to show up. Reed Goscura shows up. Now we get the weed man showing up. Hey, have a seat there, buddy.
What's up, brother?
Grab a microphone. Here's a set of headphones for you so you hear what's going on. And
went to Weed Man's joint.
It's all yours.
Had some of his. My girlfriend and I went there the other day and had some wonderful meals that we took home and enjoyed.
Did she like it?
Yes, very much. We plan to come back.
We expanded the menu now.
Did you?
Really?
Excellent.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Hold on. What? You had what?
I stopped and had breakfast at Weed Man's joint this morning, and the food was top notch.
It sure is.
It was absolutely delicious. Egg whites and potatoes on the
get
side.
That delivery.
The potatoes were so perfect, like
Too
with
early for
peppers and
delivery?
onions and
Now
all the good stuff.
The pasta
That'll work.
salad
That'll
was
work.
great.
That's
I
our
forget the
Chef
name.
John. Chef John is making it all work.
Nice.
Now, do you consider it Ital?
No,
No, it's not Ital.
it's close.
Mhm.
But if it was Ital, it'd be nothing that had a face would be there.
Mhm.
Chickens and there'd be no meat.
That Ital is a sort of a rustic concept from Jamaica.
What are you talking about?
Wait, it's
like half Italian?
I'm going to tell you here in a minute.
What are you,
Wayne.
Ital?
I know Ital is it's from the word vital, and it's a Rastafarian concept of food, where it's basically vegetarian, I guess. You see this if you travel around Jamaica. All the little stands they call their food Ital, and they're very proud of their. It's sort of like a religious Orthodox thing where they do not do it. They do not eat meat for spiritual reasons as part of the Rastafarian faith. In addition to the use of medical marijuana, not medical, but in addition to the use of marijuana as a sacrament or as a holy plant meant for the healing of the nations, it's a full faith. It's not just about marijuana. It's about a way of eating, a way of approaching life, and so the Rastafarian faith is very interesting. Now, is this a Rastafarian temple that you have there?
No, because I want to be all inclusive. So I'm calling it a temple.
You're calling it a temple,
and
but
I'm including everyone. Actually, I'm trying to get a painting where I want all the religious symbols painted around the window, and then sanctuary across the middle. So to be inclusive of everybody, not calling it a particular church. I'm just calling it a temple just to invoke spirituality. But then all faiths are welcome. Even atheists are welcome.
All faiths and no faiths.
Republicans?
Now,
well, that's going too far. I don't know, man.
I don't know about republicanism.
Now you're pushing it.
Next thing you know, you want me to serve Christie.
Oh.
No, but he has an open invite. He can come in. I hope he does
he's
show
gotta
up
be
one
in
day.
Jersey first.
I hope he does come
No,
in.
that's what's great about you, Weed Man. You still accept people as people, and you look for the best in them. And I think you really live this one love philosophy. Anyway, so I think it's good. Peace and love.
Until they bite me. You know what I mean? I'm cool with everybody. I take all comers, but once they bite, I try to bite back.
So how'd it go yesterday at the opening of the temple?
About 30 people came in.
Nice.
And signed up, and everyone said they were going to bring their friends. And, it was a slow opening. Like, I wasn't calling it a big grand opening and having a big party or nothing. Just slowly work our way into it.
I showed up there dressed as Jesus, and somebody had a problem with that. Did you have a problem with that, me dressing up as Jesus? By the way, just let me ask.
Why do you got it?
Since you brought it up.
Yeah. Because I don't want to offend anybody, and I know that I thought it was
I have offended people before, so I totally understand it. Even my weed cross offended some people, so I do understand. But yeah, I got feedback about it.
Really?
And one or two people, it's lefty humor, man. Some people are not used to lefty humor. But I did get a couple people say things. And one or two people called me, and I had one of the customers in there asked me if I endorsed it. What can I say?
I'm just making sure because the reason why I did it, I thought
It
you would like it.
personally didn't insult me.
I didn't think it would.
Personally, I kind of got a little humor out of it. Actually, I laughed about it. But I did know that there would be people offended because
I did
I've
too.
done things myself that I knew later or I knew at the time that other people would be offended.
You walked around Trenton with a crucifix on your back, and you also have pictures that you put up of yourself being crucified with a picture of Chris Christie and some other idiots up there.
Right.
So I didn't think I was out of line by doing that, but I'm sorry to everybody I offended, and I took the picture down. I took it right down, and what can I say? But that's only because I respect this woman, and that's it. But otherwise, everything's game for me, man. You know me. I'm not afraid to do. I'm a shock jock, bro. What do you want me to do? I'm a shock jock. Take all my videos down now because they offend people. I can't do that.
Right.
But
no, I understand. But at the same time, well, we should talk about.
Use your head, bro.
We talk about that one off the record. We talk about that one off the air.
Yeah. So I don't want to offend people, so I took the picture down. So.
Oh, cool.
I didn't mean to offend you. I hope I didn't offend you. So.
Like I told you, I've done very similar things, so I know. Okay. Trust me, the wheat cross kind of offended people. Somebody vandalized my wheat cross, by the way, recently.
Was it Wayne stretching it out?
No, I think it was my neighbor who expressed that he didn't like it either, and it was behind our shed, but it faces his backyard.
Oh boy!
So I think he hopped the fence and vandalized it.
What did he do to it?
Cut the leaves off.
They cut the leaves off?
Yeah. If you look at it, a couple of leaves are cut off, and you can see it's cut off by a razor, like it's cut.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
There's no video though. Damn.
Oh well. But I was just passing through. I had to drop off something at the copy machine. I have to go over and hit the bank. And they have no change over there, and it's lunchtime. So actually, I'll probably get back and people will be mad at me.
Well, we're going to come over to the Weedman's Joint. What is your website of the Weedman's Joint? You have a website?
That's it. Weedmansjoint.com. We're still working on a web page, man.
All right.
We went with one thing, and now I think we're going with something else, but we're working on it. And then I keep getting people volunteering to do things too, so who knows.
Any plans for delivery in the future of the
we had delivery here.
We're delivering.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's limited delivery, just basically down State Street.
Well, this is like the area.
Yeah.
People want lunch here.
Yeah. Well.
Any specials?
You can call it right now. You know what? There's specials every day.
What's
Did
today's?
I study it today? No. I was in and out.
I
was in and out.
We're hungry. We need munchy food, man.
The stoner special
It was
for
some
breakfast
type of
on the money.
It was some type of linguine with vegetable
There you go.
mixed vegetables in it.
You're talking my language now.
Yeah, but I didn't. I took a sample of it this morning, but
we're heading over.
I didn't catch the name.
We're heading over to the Weedman's Joint right after this show.
Right, sounds good. I'm out. Peace.
Thank you, Ed Fortune.
Thanks for stopping by, Ed.
No problem.
You are the man. Yes, sir. He's a busy man. He's got a lot of things to do. Running around, running a business is a busy thing. This is your radio show, by the way. You still are the host, so just so you know.
I know.
You know.
But hey, but you know what? After spending the last two and a half years, like basically doing nothing every day, it feels good. I keep having people ask me, like, dude, what are you doing? I don't see you on Facebook no more. I finally got something to do. What do you expect?
Something constructive too, like you're not in jail or nothing. Like you can't, you're not contacting people because of you're busy, not because you can't.
Listen, nobody's getting dirty, nasty letters. I'm not arguing with anybody right now. I'm just doing me.
When do you think that decision about the appellate court is? We were just talking about that. Any idea?
My lawyer said that he doubted that they'll do it before the summer session ends or before they start taking vacations and stuff. But he said that it would probably be an early decision in the fall.
So we have to wait probably till September for that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it's not like just before the Christmas break or something like that, because they can take it as long as they want.
Yeah.
And I did present a bunch of arguments. So, and it was a 3-panel or was it 4-person panel. So they're all going to have to weigh in, and I'm hoping that they just don't pick one or two arguments and rule on those arguments and just not touch the other ones. I hope they kind of rule on all the arguments.
I think they have to rule on all of them. They have to come to some kind of decision about that.
I kind of had something similar like 10 years ago.
3 judges, I believe.
Yeah, 3 judges, right. I had something similar 10 years ago before the appellate court, And they just I won, but they only touched on the major thing that made me won, and then decided the rest of it was moot. And I thought the rest of it was like the heart of my argument, but they let me win, so I couldn't even. What can I couldn't complain about it.
Yeah.
That was the DNA case, by the way. On the DNA case, I won that. I didn't have to give up my DNA, but they didn't rule on all the other constitutional issues I argued about. They just basically told me I didn't have to do it, which I was happy about that. But some of the arguments I wanted to present,
Yeah, we were just talking about, how the prosecutor just made it impossible for, a Rastafarian, for example, to have any defense for his actions if they don't allow the Rastafarian to tell the jury why that they were using the marijuana.
Or a medical patient, or a person from another state, to explain all that, or a New Jersey resident should be able to explain how New Jersey's program is so screwed up that they went to another state and got that card, and are in compliance with that card,
Who, like
and they
Diane?
happen to be visiting.
Like Diane?
Yeah.
Right now, if she got arrested right now, she'd have a problem.
We have Robin Saltzman over here, a card-carrying patient from Oregon.
Yes.
Doesn't qualify in New Jersey.
Right.
Can't get legal
Exactly.
access to his medical marijuana here in New Jersey, and yet he has a card, Oregon medical marijuana card.
Right.
So. It's just
Okay. All right. I'm hopping off.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ed Fortune.
I hear Wayne ordering from my joint.
He's ordering food from the joint. There you go.
He's ordering from the joint as I'm sitting right next to him.
Oh, that's good.
They got the best food.
So all of this activism is making an honest man out of you, Ed.
Hey, leave me the egg salad, all right? Hey. Thanks, Weed Man, for coming by.
Ed Fortune, New Jersey
man.
weed man. He's the man, all right.
Yeah, he sure is.
Yo, those potatoes and eggs was the best breakfast on the block, man. When these people find out you got that, man, you're going to be lining them up.
He already is. Every time I go there, it's packed.
They were so good,
Every
man.
time I go. Yeah, there's always people there. So
Saturday was slow. Saturday was slow. I'm surprised. Nobody's around on a weekend.
Yeah. How about last night? You had a lot of people last night, though, or slow, you said? All in all.
It was very packed all day, very busy all day, and then around 5 o'clock it died, and then we had a steady supply of just a few people bouncing in all day. Hey, man. All evening. I mean, we didn't leave out of there until 11, 12 o'clock last night, and we were all just sitting there chilling.
So now you give cards to join this temple
Yes,
of yours?
yep. I have a card for you.
Is there a yearly fee?
Well, I figured I'd take the first 100 people and give them year-long memberships. And then after that, I might start whittling it down to 6 months or 3 months or whatever. I'll just figure it out.
Okay.
But you got a lifelong one. All the founding members got lifelong ones.
Thank you.
You contributed to the founding of it, so you got a lifelong one.
Hey.
But anyway, I got to go.
When you come to get your bamboo, come get your bamboo, please. My wife's going to cut it all down.
That's probably a good thing, because that's what I want to do now. I figured planting it. I want to cut it down and then cut it into sections and then strap it to the
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Bamboo is
that's
an
better.
invasive species.
Yeah, because 2 years from now I'll be all mad I did that and there'll be bamboo everywhere.
That's good. It's good.
No.
Nah,
Anyway, I gotta go.
Yeah, okay.
All right, man. Ciao. Take care, Mr. Fortune. Get back to work. I hope you get to work on time.
I like that tropical. Good shit.
Can we offer anybody else a seat at our table here? Nice. You got a card. Yes. Here it is. A temple member. This is what it looks like, folks. That's pretty cool.
Let me see that.
Yeah,
I like it.
pass that around.
I like that. I want mine. Where's mine? Where's mine?
What's it say, Wayne?
Robin, you want to come have a seat at our table?
Lefty.
Talk to us a minute. No, okay. All right. He's working. What's that? Who's talking to me off air?
I am.
Oh, you're on the air.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, buddy. You're taking an order on the phone. I got to turn you off.
I know. I hear you.
He was giving an order.
LBT had LBT 3 membership rules. All members shall believe in God. There are no exceptions to this rule. Uh-oh.
Oh, this could be a problem.
All members must accept ganja.
Are you
as-
sure this is the Liberty Bell Temple and not the Masons?
I'm reading it.
That's what it says?
Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
So all members have to believe in God?
All members shall believe in God. Where's my hello in God?
No atheists allowed, Lefty.
Hello, Lefty, sound man.
It's him.
Hello, God.
Okay, stop. That's
We're not
not
gonna
fun.
make it go God.
No.
Okay. There are no exceptions to this rule, Ken.
No
That's the first.
exceptions.
That's the first one.
Uh-huh.
This ain't like the Fight Club. You know the first rule of the Fight Club?
You don't talk about the Fight Club?
There you go.
Read it again.
All members shall believe in God. There are no exceptions to this rule.
All right, move along. What's number 2?
All members must accept ganja as the sacrament of the Liberty Bell Temple 3.
As the sacrament, did it say?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Requiring the ingestion of ganja to properly practice at this cannabis temple.
Why is there
All-
a cop driving over there? Well, I've never seen that before.
Routine patrol.
Routine patrol on the sidewalk.
Routine patrol.
Hold on, can you see this?
Go
Yeah,
about
that's how
your
we are in
business.
Jersey. We drive on the sidewalks.
Look. Let's assume that maybe he wants to hear a little education about medical
I've
marijuana.
never seen an officer drive on the sidewalk before. Is he checking cards or what's he? Is he checking marijuana
No,
cards? What's he doing over
Calm
there?
down,
not running
calm down,
anyone
Lefty.
over.
I'm
We're-
very calm.
We're talking about the Liberty Bell Temple.
All
here.
members,
Sorry.
while in the temple, must practice peace and love. Peace and love.
That's a good thing.
What kind of love we talking about? But anyway,
Universal love. Love for your brothers.
Yes.
One love.
agape.
That's it,
One
bro.
love.
That's it.
One love. Okay, that kind. So all members, oh boy, all members are required to pray while in the temple.
Pray.
Pray to what?
Pray.
To God.
I heard that you could not petition the Lord with prayer.
Hey, that's a Jim Morrison lyric. I know that.
Hey, you can't quote the Doors. or
You
can
cannot petition the Lord with prayer. That's pretty good, Ken. I'm impressed.
Well, go ahead.
You hippie.
What else we
You
have?
little hippie, you.
I may not qualify for this card.
Oh boy, this is fun.
Ooh.
What else, Wayne?
Ooh. All members shall help to offset the cost associated with the operation and upkeep of this facility with a donation, tidings, offering prior to entry into the spiritual sanctuary. $42 membership.
$42 membership? Is that what it says?
Yes. Yours is free, though, I believe.
All right.
All members shall be inclusive of all races. No racist will be admitted as members.
Okay.
How are they going to test that one?
Okay, where's Ed? We need to add. Is there a test to prove if you're a racist or not?
I could tell. Oh,
Just the fact that you're walking into a temple for
I can
cannabis.
tell in your eyes. You're a racist, boy. You don't like us white people. But anyway, all members shall renounce the absurdness of the drug war.
All right.
Which, as prosecuted, victimizes our religion.
Absolutely. You know,
But it's got a question
you
mark.
cannot be a practicing Rastafarian in the United States.
No,
You
it's not
cannot-
Rastafarian. Cut that out,
yeah,
Ken.
yeah. Well, that's
Stop
one of
labeling the
well,
temple.
no, that's right. It's not a Rastafarian religion.
It's an
You're right.
all-inclusive,
It's an all-inclusive temple.
cannabis-loving.
But wait, I mean, there's only certain religions that use marijuana sacramentally. So,
Well, this is a new religion.
well, didn't it say something about using marijuana?
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean,
you-
Catholics use wine, you know.
But, yeah, and the Liberty Bell Temple 3 uses cannabis.
Okay.
Come on, Ken. How many religions are there? This is just another branch off of the Roman Catholic Church's multi-branched break-offs.
Okay.
It's like the Episcopalian. Well, this is the LBT3.
Okay.
And this little church believes in the stuff we're reading right now.
Okay. You're right.
Chuck, aren't you a registered minister, reverend?
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Amen. Yeah, yes, I did that in the early beginning before there was a law to protect me. I figured if I was covered, by being a minister of the Holy Rosary of Texas, that
Holy roller.
Are you a holy roller?
Holy Rosary
of
Texas.
You are you a holy roller, like in roller joint?
No,
that's
I
good.
joined and they
Do a
put
rosary
me
a
through a
day?
little test, taught me everything I needed and passed. And I received a minister card. I actually performed one marriage through a friend, but I'm not sure how that held up when you apply for that through the state. Even though I filled out the forms and stuff, the questions it asked.
Well, people
for.
marry themselves, Chuck. So
And now everybody
I wanna marry
can.
a plant.
It's a great thing.
I'm a registered minister with the Universal Life Church myself.
Yes.
So that's a
Yes.
similar thing.
Nice.
Probably would
Yeah.
put
I
you
need
through
you
a little
some years ago.
questionnaire.
I need you to marry me to a plant. Why are you laughing? I'm serious.
I haven't done any marriages,
I need you to marry me to a
Can you
plant.
do that?
I'm married
I
to the
can,
Marble
yes.
Rye, man. That's good.
but that's not such a big deal
Marble
because
Rise.
really anybody can perform a marriage.
Exactly.
Because people marry themselves in this.
How much you gonna
that's the
charge me?
concept. What you have to do is you have to register with the state. You have to register your marriage with the state. I mean, if you want it to be registered with the state.
So I gotta get a marriage license and then see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they might have rules that you can't do it
Yeah.
near like a
You,
waterfall.
you may have to say that it has to be a living human being that you're marrying and not a plant.
Says who?
Well,
They marry horses. Hello, get with the times, Ken. They're marrying freaking monkeys.
You ain't so liberal after all, there, Ken. I thought you were progressive.
So I just want to marry a plant.
I want to do it standing over Old Yellow, the rising geyser that shoots up in the air. I want to be standing there and get married as it
Old
shoots
Yeller
me in
was
the
a
air.
dog. Old
Or
Yeller-
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone River.
Oh, I'll give it back to you.
Old Yeller.
Yeah, what do you,
Hold on,
wait,
could we finish this
Finish
up?
reading that.
Let's finish this
Amen.
up real
Back
quick.
to this.
Can't hear you, Dan.
So we got
Go
the last couple.
Hold on, Dan has something to say. Hold on. Sorry, Wayne.
Testing 1, 2.
No, that's not what you have to say.
That the gay marriage thing, which they could have just called it just marriage, open marriage, or something to allow two old guys who are living together to get all the legal arrangements in place when one of them dies. Just simple.
Yeah. It's a
Just
Jaguar.
why not everybody, whatever. Anyway, the state said the feds said yes, but the states that didn't say yes don't have to perform gay marriages. In other words, they don't have to give you a marriage license if you're going to marry a friend, right? Instead of a lover, right?
No, but he's my daddy, and I love him.
Yeah. So
Lefty,
this is
will
just
you
what
marry me?
this is just what Weedman's case is about. About his last time he got busted here in Jersey for possession of marijuana, as he was carrying a medical marijuana patient's card from California. He had California plates on his truck. He came driving through touring, seeing the USA in his Chevrolet, and he winds up where he's taking a stand that's bringing a similar case as the gay marriage thing in front of the appellate court. And in other words, if it follows the example of the gay marriage law, it's going to be that if you have a certificate from another state that says you're a patient, medical marijuana patient, that the other states have to respect that and allow it. So, and that's what Weedman is doing. He's fighting that same kind of battle, and he's doing it with his body, head on. I mean, like, he's a real hero. He's a freedom fighter. He's a freedom fighter for.
I love what he's done.
Yeah, it's called the full faith and credit clause of the Constitution. A patient's diagnosis and treatment plan doesn't change when he crosses state lines. So if he's a legitimate patient with legitimate medicine from California, he should be able to use that medicine here in the state of New Jersey, and or from any of the states. If there's a physician that recognizes a condition, a medical condition or a disease that responds to marijuana therapy, and that patient gets a legitimate recommendation for marijuana in any state, then he should not be subject to arrest and imprisonment when he comes into the state of New Jersey. That's the weed man's argument, and we certainly hope it prevails in court.
So finish reading your card there. There's one more thing you have to read on there, I believe.
A couple more things.
Really? Okay.
Well, no member shall be a government agent working in support of any aspect of the war on drugs. All members shall try their best to follow the laws. See, this is how you always get out, Ken, okay?
But I was only giving out the bumper stickers. They really weren't mine.
Oh my God, this has some terrible wording.
Uh-oh.
All members shall try their best to follow the laws of the state of New Jersey in regards to ganja. F the law, smoke it anyway. Members are encouraged to have medical marijuana cards. However, a medical marijuana card is not required to praise at our temple. Then it just has, if you believe in that Bible stuff, Genesis chapter 1, verses 29 and 30. Then God said,
Wait. Do it again.
Then God said, I give you seed-bearing plants on the face of the whole earth, and every tree has fruit in it. I don't know what Bible he got that out of, but sure, that's close. That's like one verse.
So
Genesis, man.
So when people that don't have cards are smoking at the temple, are they trying to say that they need to have a medical marijuana patient at all times?
Look the other way.
A patient has to be there at all times so that when the cops walk in, everybody throws their weed on the floor. And I can't hear you if you don't talk into the mic, Chuck.
He said, what if his weed don't have seeds?
I want to hear Chuck say it. What did you
Did
say?
you get your card back? Oh, no, he's
Chuck, say it again.
I said, but what if my weed don't have seeds?
No, what if my weed don't have seed, right?
Okay, seed.
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have a card there, Johnny? No medical marijuana card? No.
So what are you going to do when the cop walks in? You just going to throw your weed on the ground?
You need people like me,
Yeah, you
man.
need me around.
Even though I don't have my card on
You
me.
throw your weed at my feet, bro, because that's the only way you're going to get out of
No,
this.
don't throw it at my feet, bro.
No, throw it at mine.
Put it in my hands.
prescription, but
Yeah, throw your weed at his feet.
It's all mine. Everything's mine.
Put it in my hands. Because I'm going to blaze it for you.
always.
That's a nice card, man.
Thanks, I like it a lot. It's pretty snazzy.
It is.
And it's like it's a good spot to meet other people who are like-minded.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Or no God.
Did you pray to God? Did you
Any
pray to
God.
God?
Just go there and say, oh my God.
Lord of mercy.
The God of Ganja.
I'll pray to
Good
that.
stuff. Good stuff.
But it's definitely it's a nice chill atmosphere, and you know
Yeah.
it's a really nice place and good people. So I'm
Yeah,
glad
we're
to
gonna
have
meditate there a little bit from now.
definitely some meditating.
I like the food, too.
I remember you completely now.
Munchy foods.
Okay, cool.
I can't remember what incident, but I know you. Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck, talk into the mic, because I got to ask you a
Wapner at
question.
8, definitely Wapner at 8.
Now, Chuck, you started the Ignorance is No Excuse tour with me. Hey, you know what you need? Where's his headphones? I gave you headphones, didn't I?
Yeah, here, I put
Put your headphones on.
I put
Listen,
them over here 'cause no
I
one-
can't hear through headphones,
you
man.
start. You
Am I
gotta-
supposed to hear something?
Yeah, you got to hear this. You started the Ignorance is No Excuse tour with me back a couple of years ago. And we made some great videos. We did some great activism. We were really on the right track there.
And then he just left.
And then we made a video about Carlton Higgs going into the police station. Carlton Higgs was a guy who went into a police station, defecated, and smoked a joint. And so what we wanted to do was show you how to do it legally. So me and Chuck put on diapers and went to the police station and did that. Smoked weed and pooped. But the problem was people didn't like that video. Like, how do we go from doing really good activism to dancing around in diapers? I mean, that video was horrible, man. Middletown was really, it was
You
like,
didn't listen to me.
it was horrible. Why did we do that? How did
I
you do
told
that?
you not to do
Why
that.
did you do that, Chuck?
I'm sure it'll go down in history as a famous one in the end. It was in the early days. People just didn't do that, bring that awareness to the whole force by targeting the captain in chief. putting them on the spot, asking the questions, and wait for the answer. Sometimes they got to go ask the boss, and sometimes they got to go ask the big boss. And it just kept getting bigger until the point where we got our answer.
How about Keensburg? Keensburg was fun.
Yeah, Keensburg was fun. Sparta was even better. Helmeta, they didn't give a shit. It's like we don't even have schools. We want to know where the school zone is. There aren't no schools in Helmeta. No cops ever told me that before, and except for Helmeta.
That's actually a classic one. How many? You guys like in the parking lot there.
That was a good one.
And that guy, what was that guy? Was he the chief or the captain?
Lieutenant, I believe.
Lieutenant, he's like looking at you like, you bothered me for?
Yeah, it was
We
fun.
got other important stuff to do. There ain't nothing here. Leave us alone.
He didn't know the Kuma guidelines, but he didn't give a crap.
Yeah. That was,
He knew we just wanted to smoke our medicine. And he pointed out where the property ended, so we weren't physically on their property. So we went to that spot, kind of like across the street from here.
Yeah.
There's that physical spot. And I was walking by smoking a joint, and I had to just come to a halt. And stop right there because you can't go there.
Yeah, we were walking down the street smoking, and we had to stop right there because that's our border.
That's the boundary.
That's it. Can't go past it.
Why don't we have the bubble suit? I want the bubble suit that I could just wear anywhere. Just float around, and inside that suit is just me.
Yeah.
Ricardo
is
Get
here.
over here, man.
Ricardo Rivera.
You got to be one happy. No,
Yeah.
here.
Well, I tell you what. It's great to see you here.
Give him a mic. Give him something.
Ricardo
Good
Rivera.
news might be on the way.
You are the man.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
Steve.
Excellent.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
Rest in peace, Sabina Rose, as usual.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes,
Yeah.
amen.
Poor baby.
So how's everything going, guys?
Well, it's going good. What's going on with you and Tuffy? Anything new and exciting?
Well, I was in Colorado, as you guys know,
Yeah.
about a month ago. We did a lot of things out there. Got to meet the Wilsons, awesome family. Vivian, loved her, such a sweetheart. Got to hang out with my girl, Diane. Talked for a while, learned a lot of stuff. My whole journey there was awesome. I got to meet some really great medicine people that really helped impact not only my daughter's life, but other children's lives that I've been working with that have been kind of underground with it.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, we have to hide the fact that our children are taking this medicine, and it is what it is. But I don't, as you guys all know, I don't care.
Well, you don't have to hide because you have a card.
Yes.
When I ran into Lorelei at the hospital, she's had 700 seizures in one day.
Yeah.
And she can't get her medical marijuana card in Pennsylvania right now. She has to wait. And it's crazy when you see these kids that can't even get cards. At least Tuffy's getting some help that she needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, at her worst time, how many seizures did she have a day?
She was having over 300 a day. She was having 25 to 30 full clonic seizures, which were the ones that she fall and have the muscle spasms. And
Right.
She still seizes, and this is one of the things I always tell families that call me from all over the country. They're like, oh, you know, we see your daughter, she looks great, blah, blah, blah. I want to tell everybody this right now. I'm going to be straight up and honest with everyone. You know, it is not the cure. Simple as that. Our children live with some of the most devastating conditions in the world. That's a fact. It's a relief, though.
It's palliative.
Oh my God! It saved my daughter's life, but it didn't cure her. And I always tell that to these new families, especially with smaller children than Tuffy, because there's constantly new kids being diagnosed. I just spoke to Shayla down in Georgia. Her daughter's actually #1 on the list to get the cannabis oil. She has over 80 full clonic seizures a day. She's listed as the worst patient in the state of Georgia right now with epilepsy. And I told her, look, do the best you can to get the oil. It's going to be a trial and error kind of thing, but you just got to work at it, you know. But don't let anybody invade your daughter's body by doing surgery and all this other stuff. Let's go natural as much as possible first, and then you work into those surgeries and everything else. And she actually listened to me. She said, you know what, you're so right. She was like, why would I want someone to do brain surgery on my daughter? Why would I want to put, you know, a VNS in my daughter's body for her? And I'm like, exactly, just wait. Because just like they were giving me that advice, they're doing the same thing to you. And I haven't had to force my daughter yet to get any kind of, surgery like that. She's gotten only one so far, and that was just for dental restoration, which they didn't have to touch her brain for. And I thank cannabis for that. I really do. I thank, the whole coalition. I thank everyone that's helped me throughout the country. I mean, we've worked really hard to try to get Tuffy seizure-free. She's not seizure-free, but it's a lot better. I mean, from over 300 a day to maybe one a day, or sometimes one every 3 weeks. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Be seizure-free, huh? That'd be nice. But still, I hear you. I hear you big time.
Well, it's so hard too because, you have to make this oil yourself, right, Ricky? And
Good thing you're a technician.
How can you be certain, that the actual dosage that she's getting? She could be getting different dosages. You just there's no testing available for the actual dosage. You give her an eyedropper full, but that eyedropper could be stronger than the other eyedropper. It's just so hard here in New Jersey to get consistent and reliable dosing into the children.
Yeah, Ken, you're absolutely 100% right on that, and that is another thing that I want to work on here in this state. I'm not going anywhere. Everybody keeps asking me, am I going to Colorado? No, we're not leaving to Colorado. Jennifer's already put her foot on my throat and told me we're not going anywhere, so we're not going anywhere. All right, that's what it is. Okay, that is the next thing we have to work on, though, Ken, and I need your guys' help as usual. You guys are always there for us to help us. We need testing. We need testing done. I shouldn't have to leave the state and illegally buy testing kits. I don't care. I'll say it right here on camera. I don't care. I shouldn't have to leave my home state to go get a testing kit. That's illegal here in the state of New Jersey. Why am I being forced to do that? Why? My daughter is a terminally ill patient. She should not be forced to not have access to everything to improve her lifestyle. And that right there we need. It is vital right now. I don't know how much I'm giving my daughter every single time. I don't. Right. And it's disgusting.
There's just so many improvements that need to be made in the state's medicinal marijuana program. Now, you talked about different types of demonstrations too. We can always get we can call a press conference inside the State House. Maybe in the fall. Because this program's not going away. It's not going to get better during the summer. So we have to look at a long-term approach to this problem and not give up and continue to do the things that we're doing and to do more and better of the things that we're doing to make the public aware of the deficiencies in this program and what it needs to make a better program. So
yeah, and I support you guys. I always will, and I support Philadelphia too. I mean, like he was saying, Loli, right? She's having over 700 seizures a day. Right. Meanwhile, my daughter was having over 300 a day, and it's almost diminished her seizures to 90%. It's lowered at 90%. I mean, yeah, sure, you're right, Wayne. Seizure-free would be perfect, but I mean, the chances of that happening, battling these conditions like Lennox-Gastaut and Dravet and all these other generalized seizures is almost near impossible. I mean,
it's like they don't want to call it a cures. Like they don't say that cannabis cures, but they will go as far to say that cannabis is anecdotal.
Yeah.
And geez, that works for me, man. Like here we all hear your story, Tuffy's story, your story, and from 300 to how many now?
She'll have on her best times like one every 3 weeks. Sometimes she'll have them for a couple days in a row. Like the past 2 days, she had 1 drop seizure yesterday, and then she had 2 drop seizures the day before. She did bust her nose up a little bit, but before that, it was 15 of those in one day. That every time I was like this. How can a parent live like that? You're behind
and
them.
This guy was doing it. If I remember correctly, because I don't want to take things to but you were starting that out at pretty much all CBD, and then you started mixing with the other things, the other chemicals that are in marijuana itself.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. That was one of the things that I did learn a lot about in Colorado. Big ups to my girl Jenny Storms. I miss you, love you, girl.
We all love Jenny. And
yeah.
Jazz.
Yeah, Jenny was
Jenny's
great.
awesome.
Great here in New Jersey.
She was teaching me, educating me a lot more with the terpenes, and also Brian Wilson also was teaching me about the terpenes and how important it was to actually have THC. And it's now to the point in Colorado, a lot of these parents are now using more THC than they do CBD. And I'm one of them now that has gone more towards THC because CBD was actually triggering my daughter to have more seizures, which is pretty ironic, being that we were told that CBD would be the best approach. But our bodies, we're all different. Biology-wise, we're all different, and some children do better with just CBD, some do better with just THC, some do better with the mix of both. It's just an all trial and error kind of thing. And right now, Tuffy is on a higher dose of THC.
And you do your mix pretty much instantly, right?
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. I mean, like when I talk to people and they actually try to get the chemicals, whatever you want to call it, out of the plant material. A lot of people are telling me, you got to keep that in alcohol for 28 days, like 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all different approaches. I mean, you can do the dry ice approach. You can do.
So I'm noticing all these parents, they all do it differently, man.
Yeah, it's all different.
Trial and error, man.
That's sad.
It's sad. It's very sad.
That's sad. We got to put them in charge of being like our scientists.
See, and that's one of the things I try to make a point whenever I speak to the press is say, hey, not only am I a damn parent, but I'm also a nurse. I'm also a doctor. I'm also a pharmacist. I'm also a psychiatrist. I'm all these things in one, but as a parent, I'm supposed to face and turn to, for example, a nurse and say, hey, what do I do? Can you help me? Can you guide me? Because you have that level of expertise and education that I do not. But at this point, it doesn't matter because I have to educate myself constantly. I'm educating Jennifer. I'm educating other parents because no one really knows. No one's been allowed to legally research this to that point, and it's not right.
It's not.
Yeah. Now you talked about Lorelei in Pennsylvania, and of course they're working. They've been very frustrating with the legislation in Pennsylvania to get a medical marijuana bill there passed. It actually passed in the Assembly or it passed in the Senate, and it's being held up in the Assembly right now. And there's various maneuvers to try to get a medical marijuana program started in Pennsylvania. But to raise awareness for this, there's going to be a smoke down prohibition on Friday, July 10th, 2015 at 4 p.m.
Yes.
There's going to be a rally at Love Park, which is at 15th and JFK Boulevard, and there's going to be speakers there. I'm going to be one of the speakers. Are you going to be there, Ricky?
I am. I'm actually one of the speakers representing the parents. Even though I'm from Jersey, I still deal closely with a lot of the parents over in Pennsylvania. So
yeah, sure. And I'm the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey Executive Director, but I'm also a registered nurse in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania, and I've worked very hard with the Pennsylvania State Nurses Association to get them to endorse medical marijuana, and they've been wonderful supporters of medical marijuana. The problem is the Pennsylvania Medical Society, PMS.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey. Wow. Isn't that ironic?
They testified at one of the same committee hearings that I did at the one of the universities in Pennsylvania, and they were opposed. They said they were not for or against medical marijuana, but they were not ready for it yet in Pennsylvania, and they wanted to delay the implementation of the medical marijuana for more studies. And to me that's such a cop out. Here we've had medical marijuana in the United States since 1996 when California passed its law. That's 20 years. If you haven't done the studies that you need to do in 20 years, you're not going to get them done. Marijuana the medical part of it's been known in America at least since the 1960s, and that's 50 years now. And we don't need to delay this anymore. We don't need more studies before we get patient access, before patients like Lorelei get access to this medicine. And that's what I want to say in Philadelphia. At this rally on it's not this coming Friday, it's going to be next Friday, the Friday after the 4th of July at Love Park at 4 o'clock.
Big ups to Cali. They've been leading, since '96, like you said.
Sure.
Jason David, amazing father. I don't know if anyone knows his son's story, Jaden. But
Yes.
yeah, they've been leading the way pretty much across the nation. I mean, their stories constantly being shared on social media and all over the internet. And they definitely, if you need research, I mean, you don't have to turn to us. We've only been involved in it for a year. Little Jaden's now been in it now, what, 4 years, something like that. And I mean, the kid's doing amazing. He was pretty much dying in his father's arms, and he looks great now. There's your data right there.
Yeah.
And Matt Baker, you suck, by the way, man.
Yeah.
Why are you depriving these?
That one person
yeah.
in the Assembly Health Committee,
I mean,
one person can hold
you
that
sell your
entire
soul
bill
for
up.
20 grand
No.
for your campaign
Terrible.
sponsorship. Come on, man. And when I see you, I will let you know to your face, just like I told Christy. I'll tell you too. You guys are nothing but sellouts, failure to the system, and a failure to our country and our states, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Do it
right.
on
Ricky.
camera. Do it on
Absolutely
camera,
right.
please. Call them out,
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah, no, that's in the works.
They don't like being called out on camera. To be.
Well, you have to,
Yeah,
because if you don't, then nothing ever happens.
That's
And
right.
I've learned that. You know, just like getting Tuffy's card, I had to like scream about it in order to get my daughter's card.
7 times in a meeting, and then they kicked you out. The 8th time, they kicked you out of the meeting.
Yeah, they
Chris
kicked me.
Christie's meeting.
Yeah, straight disrespect to my daughter,
Awful.
and I mean,
Awful.
now we're on a whole different issue too, with kids getting access to their cannabis in school. Big shout out to Laura Barber, and Jenny and that family, Roger.
Roger, yeah.
They worked hard on that, and
I never knew that you guys were in the same school.
yeah,
Tuffy and Jenny.
I've
what
been
a
speaking
coincidence,
about
yeah.
that, about how she wasn't allowed to
There's
get
more.
her cannabis in school.
There's more in that school.
There's more cannabis
There's
kids
more
in that school. Of course there is. Of course there is, but they can't come
A couple
out.
don't want to come out of the closet.
They can't, of course. I don't blame them.
But this whole lawsuit and all,
it's going to bring them
they're
out.
thinking-
I don't
they're
talk
thinking
about the
twice.
lawsuit because that's not my style, but we are involved. I mean, I don't go out and tell everybody we're because that's not what we're about.
I'll
We're
talk
about
it- I'll do-
helping.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
I took part in it.
That's my
I'm
job.
part of that lawsuit. I mean, I testified as a nurse, as a registered nurse in Pennsylvania, that this and New Jersey, actually, that's the New Jersey case.
Yeah.
That child needs access to its her medicine 4 times a day, and that she's not getting better. Or she's getting better because she gets her medicine, and when she should not be deprived of a steady state of the anticonvulsant blood level, which is what the school is depriving her of.
Tuffy now has more seizures in school because she's not getting her afternoon dosage than she does at home.
Yeah, how about you have the exact same
what other
condition.
data
Yeah.
do I need to put out there?
Right. You know, they talk about anecdotal data, but you know, one person, you know, if that person is you. That's all there is in the universe.
Yeah. Amen to that. Anecdotal. If it works, it works. That's what I don't. And I mean, not to poke, not to make fun of the issue, because I don't think this is funny at all. But Ken, as a nurse, was saying at these schools, they're all for giving. What did you call that?
Valium, sure.
A rectal
you know,
Valium.
they'll give Valium.
To a kid.
They'll give other very dangerous drugs. You know,
How could
and yet they
and
won't
here's
give
something
they won't
that's-
give medical marijuana to prevent the problem. Right? You know, they'll give
That
very
makes no
dangerous
sense to me,
drugs
man.
They do.
That makes no
to try to
friggin'
stop the
sense.
seizure. You know, but to
That's
prevent the
stupidity.
seizure,
It's
they won't do it.
No compassion at all.
None.
More worried about the federal government
CYA
than actually
covering their
being
ass.
than being the number one
care about the
advocate for the
kids.
child. Simple as that.
It's not right. not
But
right
we
at
will
all.
continue on to bring up the issue. We're not going to stop. And there's a lot of other issues. You know, the testing thing, we have to get back on that. We can't keep quiet about that anymore because, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, what about the psychedelic effect that these children are having? Well, how about we test these drugs that we're giving our children and find out what exactly it is that we're giving our children? What about that? If you're so worried about them being stoned.
Yeah, 83525, a bill which has been languishing in the New Jersey legislature
Is that what it
for
is?
a couple of years. That would be a comprehensive fix of the medicinal marijuana program, and it would require the state to develop testing programs, testing for every batch of marijuana in the ATCs, and also testing on demand from any marijuana that parents bring in or people bring in to
Yeah,
just
it
to
should
check
be
it.
what Ricardo is talking about. Okay, And bro, in Boston and Rhode Island, they're there for you.
Oh, I know, and yeah, I don't care. I go
They
get
tell
'em.
you send. They said.
Oh, really? Really? So there are testing labs that will accept
They
samples
test
from all over the
everything.
country. Yeah.
They test concentrates. They test the marijuana. The flour. They test the tinctures. They tell you everything. How much mold, whatever you want to know. Boom. This is America. You know,
Metals?
it's a business. Yes.
Yeah, heavy metals.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, so I got companies, bro. You can send them stuff. They'll take care of you.
Thank you.
You know, but
Good to know.
We should have something here in Jersey. 'Cause
Sure.
how do we, we're supposed to. This is what I don't understand. We're supposed to go by what your friend Julio tells us. His
It's not
marijuana.
my friend Julio. He's just
Julio's
my
your
drug
friend.
dealer.
Julio tells you, yeah, my blueberry's 24% THC. Well, what lab do you test it in?
Over here, down the street. Department of Health.
Department of Health lab.
Yeah, they have a lab over here. Agriculture, Department of
I
Agriculture.
want to see the testing, man.
They wouldn't let me in. I went
wanna
there.
See the
They wouldn't let me in.
They do good testing there, I understand. I talked to the head of the testing program, the former head of the
because they say so. Because they say so, though.
Well,
Why
no,
would they wanna test his stuff?
because a man who's no longer affiliated with it, but who did work in it, and
Oh,
who
he's
knew
gonna-
about the shortcomings in the various alternative treatment centers, the mold from the ATCs.
And he's starting a
that was early
dispensary
on.
himself in New
But
York,
anyway,
right?
Actually, yeah.
Not to get off the subject, but I wanted to point out too how the senator, Senator Cruz, shout out to her, very compassionate woman, very sweet, and Freeholder Rodriguez. I just received an award from them for medical
I saw that. Yeah,
marijuana.
congratulations.
Yes.
Ricky.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It wasn't
That's
more
great.
about the reward. It was more of we're being noticed now, and they're starting to really understand where we're coming from. Like they both said, they've been watching what it is we're doing. They just can't talk about it. And, not to blow their spot or anything like that, but they are on our side, and they do want to help. But there are roadblocks, and she told me that yesterday. I talked to her yesterday. She said to me, Rick, we got the whole, bill passed through for your daughter to get the medication that she needs in school. She's like, but there's one roadblock. She was like, at this point, it's like veto proof.
Right.
But the administration has not exercised that veto proof yet. We're hoping this time around that they do the right thing, because if they don't, there's going to be some major calling out. Because if you have a veto proof bill on the table and you don't exercise that and it's vetoed, you're as much as the problem, even if you voted for it to go through.
What exactly are you talking about?
The bill to allow children to take the cannabis in school.
You're talking about Chris Christie,
Right.
governor vetoing it.
Right.
I don't see that happening, bro.
I do.
I think he's going to be an a-hole, and he's going to make it where he doesn't do shit for 45 days, and it automatically becomes a law. I think that's how he's going to play it. I can't see
that's
him
not his
vetoing
style.
Does it work that way?
Hold on, that's not his style. His style,
No.
when the gay marriage came on his table, and he swore to death that he would not sign that, what'd he do?
He signed it.
So don't tell me that's not his style.
But for that
something he-
issue.
Well, hello.
What
it's
about the
same-
other issues when he signed the other bills? He didn't wait 45 days.
Well,
That's why I see him
he
signing it.
Conditionally vetoed it after.
some bills he conditionally vetoed. Yes, yeah,
see
conditionally
him doing
vetoed.
that
So
to
we may look at a conditional veto for some of the conditions that are.
What, only
in
some
that.
kids?
Yeah, only some kids
Only some
can
kids.
suffer.
Who
None of
knows?
the others can.
I don't see.
But I don't see him pocket. You're talking about a pocket veto where he just puts it in his pocket and doesn't sign it and allows it to become into law.
I think that's the worst thing, the worst case scenario. Because I can't see him not signing this. And this
we'll
guy's
see.
running for president.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
He's
see.
just 3 days ago, he just, hey, I'm going to become president.
Hey.
Well, now
Here's
you're
the
going to
chef.
go, oh, this is
Look
beautiful.
at this. All right, good. Just in
Look at
time for
this.
break. We got
That's
to
how
take
you
a break.
shut me up. Bring food over here.
We're going to take a break real quick, and we'll start up in a minute.
Yeah.
Fully Baked Radio, SativaCross.com. We'll be right back.
You're listening to us on Ustream.
Actually, we'll be here. We're just stopping the recording.
Hey, just put on some music, bro.
There, you got it.
Where's that music track?
I got a track somewhere for you. Hold on. We're going to take a little break here. We'll be right back on Fully Baked Radio, SativaCross.com.
Still don't hear the music.
It's coming.
Talk to me, brother.
It's coming.
Oh, thanks, man. Ready.
I'm starving.